We on now. We are on. It's your homeboy JT in the building. Man, I'm out here doing the goddamn thing, bro. What's going on, people? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Oh, man. All right. I'm here. I'm back. It's on and popping. Unapologetic. I am your guest host, still your guest host for I think week number 3, your homeboy JT, What We Know podcast. If you guys look on the What We Know side, you can also go there also to like, share the video over there. But don't forget, if you are already over here on the Black Man Unfiltered Network, please hit that like, hit that share. Don't forget to hit that button and let everybody know, man, that we are live. We are here. We in the building. We in the building. We in the building. What's going on with my people that's in here? I already see 2 people that are already in this piece right now. Black Man Unfiltered. Oh, he was in here earlier. I got my girl. Take heed to the message. Love your show. Love your show. I seen it this morning. I was up in there. What's going on with you? My man, Trey Ferg, what's going on with you, partner? They're going to be trickling in. The people going to be trickling in. We're going to also have a panel tonight. So, Trey, I don't know if they shot you that link. Take heed. I don't know if they shot you the link. But if you guys see what the title is Switched Roles, right? And I definitely want to have a conversation about what we see in the dating field and even the field of dating and getting married. Have the roles changed within women and men? Have they changed? Be definitely talking about that. Shout out to one and one. They just had their show. They just closed out. That's why I'm out here being fidgety right now, because I was over there engineering their show, which was a great show, a great show, man. What's going on with Peter? Is it Laritzitz over on the Facebook side of the game? What's going on with you? What's going on, brother? What's popping? Again, like I said, I got a couple of little short videos that I'm gonna be showing based off of what we see as, fairly older adults like myself. I'm 51 years old, man. And I'm looking at this dating game, and I'm looking at how people are getting together. I just had a conversation with my mom about this whole thing. And I'm thinking, when it comes down to these roles being switched between women and men, and pretty much I look at the generation that's anywhere from 35 on down to see what it is that they're doing. I'm trying to get some intel from my younger generation. So it's just observation, man. Y'all tell me, what is it that you guys see in the chat? What is it that you see that's going on in the younger dating field right now? Is it good? Is it bad? If you got if you got kids that are of dating age, do they share with you guys what's going on with them or not? What's going on, my man Hassan? What's popping with you, brother? Salute to you, my man. Salute. If you guys want to come up and have a talk, I will be putting the link is already in there. So you can definitely hit the link if you really want to come up here and have a conversation. But I know in my observations, man, it seems like it's a cesspool here right now. It seems like that the men are walking away. The men they're not even paying attention to what's going on in the dating field. It's either they're having sex or they're not. It's kind of like And I hate this culture that we use, I don't know if it was my generation or if it was right after my generation where they came up with this hookup culture. It's really terrible right now. Take heed to the message. She says it's horrible foolery. IG telling all the business. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is terrible out here. And we can't blame them. We have to start looking at ourselves, man. It's a lot that goes with this. But I do know that I got a couple of videos that talks about um do men approach women in a dating field? And it's funny because I know in my generation, um, we called it a cold approach. The cold approach, um, that cold approach was a skill that you had to have. In our generation, you had to have a skill, and if you didn't have a skill, man, you was not going to get no honeys on your line at all. It wasn't you couldn't just not talk to women. You had to build your confidence up. You had to take the L's. Um, and that's what I did myself. I had to learn how to actually be, a man of some type of means as being just a young guy, 16 years old. We didn't have no cell phones and nothing like that. We had a black book, we had some of us was fortunate enough to have our own phone in our room. I don't know how many people that was, but I know I was one of those guys that had that where I had my own phone in my room. I had a not voicemail. I had a damn answering service, an actual answering service. And it was funny because I was one of those guys that had the smooth music in the back. Hey, you reach James. I'm not in at the moment. But if you just leave your name, your number, I will get back with you after the beat. Oh, no, what did I say? I can't remember what I said. I'll get with you later on momentarily or something like that. But leave your name, your number, after the beep and stuff like that, man. That was what we did. We had our little talk off, man. It was crazy. And even when it came down to how we even dressed, we had to make sure that we was up to par. And one of the things I notice about women is that the first thing that they notice when they see you and they do the little scan up and down, they look at your shoes. They look at your shoes. I'm telling you, and they're trying to find everything that they can possibly to discount you talking to them. And then we used to have on the code approach, you had to have a talk off. You had to be able to get her to be interested in you. And some guys had, they had a little rap that it was some shit that they used to say, your legs must be tired because you've been running through my mind all day or some crazy stuff like that. And I don't know if it actually worked, but it at least made the women smile. You know what I'm saying? So they were more inviting back then. Like now, girls really pride themselves on being hateful and mean looking, and they got the sour puss face and all that shit now. Back then, it wasn't. They were still allowing us to be men. It was still they were still attracted to, the things that we did, which sometimes it was definitely goofy. I had a cousin, man. He tried. He seemed like the scientist, like the dating scientist. He used to try all kind of stuff with girls. I remember he started dressing up to go to school. He used to wear like a 2-piece or a 3-piece, and that's how he used to, get the girls. And I used to think it was corny, but man, they used to like him. But I think it was because of his personality also. And he used to look a little bit like Eddie Murphy. So it was funny when he found out that he actually looked a little bit like Eddie Murphy. So when girls used to tell him that, he used to do that stupid Eddie Murphy laugh. I'm glad Eddie don't even do that laugh no more. That he used to do that corny shit, but it worked. It didn't work on all the women, but he was very active when it came down to it. You know what I'm saying? But let me acknowledge some of the people that's walking up in here. I got my man Lou. What's going on, Lou? What's popping with you, bye? What's going on with you, bye? Especially in Detroit. You know it, Lou. In Detroit. What up, Joe? What up, though, Lou? You seen that message that I did on my man's today? I think that was you that made the thing when I asked him what was the capital of Wyoming. Tell everybody what the capital of Wyoming is, Lou. Let them know, bro. What's going on? King Bob 111. What's happening with you, man? That's right. What you cooking? What you over there cooking, partner? You better be something good too. And then guess what? My boy, my homeboy. No captivity with your boy Freezy just dropped a 5-ball on your boy. You dig what I'm saying? I appreciate you, Freezy. You know what it is, homie. Love you always, boy, but you already know what I got to do.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. But oh man, he say some homemade chicken fried steak. Oh damn, you just killing them with that right there. You killing them with that right there. What you making with it? What's your size, dog? What's your size? Mashed potatoes, homemade mashed potatoes with some green beans, some greens. Damn, that shit sound good as hell, man. All right, y'all, I'm about to go ahead and in the show so I can go ahead and head over to King Bar. Get something from over there. You know what I'm saying? What was I saying, man? But anyway, I'm gonna bring the other two. I got my brothers up here, man, so they can get in here and join in this conversation with me. And if you can, folks, I want to pay homage to the homeboys up here. The first one I want to bring up here is the Greek freak himself, my homeboy. Grooming and Reviews. What's going on, homie?
What's going on, my brother? I give you credit. You could not pronounce my last name for the hell of it before.
What is it? Say it. I bet you I can.
Lauritzis.
Lauritzis.
Close. I will give you $100 the day you pronounce my first and last name, and that goes to anybody who comes on this panel.
Hey, I already know, man. Bruh. I'm gonna mess your name all the way up. That's it, all the way up. I got another brother over here. This is a brother, man. I'm glad that I got a chance to meet. This is my homeboy. I call him Trey Unleaded, or is he Leaded? No, he's Trey Unleaded. The other one is Trey Leaded. So this is Trey Ferg. What's going on with your partner? In the building. What's happening, man? Oh, you're muted. Hold on, we can't hear you. Uh-oh, it shows that you're muted right there.
I think he has technical problems.
You might have to go out and come back in.
That's what she said.
Come back in. Okay. Most definitely. King Boss said, yeah, he already told me that. What's going on to my homeboy? Sport Talk with Rob. What's going on, Rob, man? Hey, man, I got your, I seen your message with your daughter, bro. Hey, your family is always in my prayers, homie. Always in my prayers, man. I'm glad y'all doing better, man. Most definitely. My man Lou, he said, it wasn't me, but I'll probably get it wrong. I think the capital of Wyoming is Finkel. You know what it is, homie. You know what it is. That's a Detroit thing. Finkel, 5 Mile. You dig? What's going on the hot side? What's going on? We got he said salute to Freezy. That's right. Freezy up in this piece, man. No captivity. And then you already know my boy. Lost in translation. You say Little Richard. What are you talking about, Lost? What's going on with my homeboy? What's going on, partner? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Hey man, you know what it is, bro. I'm still trying to look good, bro. I'm old now, man. You dealing with an old cat. I ain't as old as Ferg though. Can you? Hey, let me see if I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
I got you.
Can
I
you hear me?
got you. I
All
got
right.
you. But
Appreciate it.
yes, sir, Ferg OG, but Ferg, you still look fit, bro. You still
Hey
look
man,
fit.
hey man. That's because I got somebody feeding me them good meals every day, from a goosey stew. I hope I said it right, to some okra and good vegetables and lean. I'm getting all of my nourishments and fulfillments pleased. And
So you're a
yeah,
tofu guy, right?
so no, I don't eat tofu, man. You know, I just eat the good food, man. I gotta have something to bite into, man. And yeah,
Right.
so
That's right. Absolutely. Hey man, so you guys remember when you were, I don't know, grooming, how old are you?
Really? You're gonna make me announce that online? Freaking shit. 38.
You dealing with
oh,
two
baby.
old ass. How old?
38.
Okay, yeah. You 38, you right there. You right there. So I had got out the military 20 years ago. So when I got out, you was 18. You were just starting your life. You were just starting.
He was in elementary when I got out, 97,
Yeah.
right after the.
You got out in
yeah,
97?
Yes, sir.
So you got out right during the time when Bosnia was really kicking hard then. Because I was over in Bosnia at about 96, 97.
Oh,
I was
okay.
over there too
Yeah.
long, man. I was over there
Dumb question
forever.
for both of you guys. JT, you were Army, right?
Army, yes.
What
Yeah.
were you like? Ranger? What your job was in the military?
No, I was a track mechanic. I was a wheel mechanic, light wheel, heavy wheel. Shit. Once I got to be E5, I was all that shit. I was
Nice.
dealing with turbine engines and caterpillars and all kind of stuff, man.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Trey, about you, buddy?
I done worked on some boats. Shit.
Yeah. I was construction engineer, man. You know, everything we built a lot of housing. Well, not housing, you know, the little villages that you see where the little rangers and soldiers go through and act like they going through a little foreign village trying to capture and find the enemy. That's what we built. We built those places, and you know, of course, did a lot of construction. Hung out with the electricians, the plumbers, and had a lot of good stuff, man. You know, went to Saudi Arabia. It was the most life-changing experience I ever had, man. I actually saw a Scud missile in the air under attack, and I was the only one at that airfield that had a gas mask. Everybody else didn't have a gas mask. I was the only one out there with my full regalia on, looking like, and it hit. The Patriot went off. It sort of hit it, deflected it, sent it off into the desert. 5 minutes later, it was all clear. I was like, I'll be glad when I get back home.
Hell yeah.
I always said this, and this is respect for both of you. I have a lot of friends in the service. I mentioned before, one of my friends got shot 13 times in Iraq. So anybody who goes in the service is you're fucking crazy in a good way, and you have balls of steel. So I think both of you guys are fucking crazy and have balls of steel. And that's mean I respect.
Crazy. I've asked myself many a times in my career of why am I doing this again? Why haven't I re-enlisted 3 times? So it was like before every re-enlistment, I was like, I'm getting out this time.
Honestly, when I tried to go in, I couldn't go in because my blown knee. That's the only reason I didn't go in. And it's something that a sour taste in my mouth because that was my dream. You know, hey, you know how every kid would grow up, I want to be a cop, I want to be this, I want to be this. I want to be a soldier. That's what I grew up growing up as. And when I couldn't do that, it was like my world just came crashing down. Like, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
But it sucks. And like I volunteer a lot with the Wounded Warrior Project and anything I can. And like this is a little piece I can give back at least. I couldn't go in, but that's something I can do.
Yeah. It was some moments I had where I was just like, yeah, I look cool. You know what I'm saying? It was times I look cool, you know. have my full battle rally on. So that's when we come up and we roll up in somebody's town. We got these big old M1s and Bradleys. You know, it was a time. Oh,
Guys, be honest with you. How many times you wear your dress uniforms to try to pick up chicks?
Oh man, you know.
Sorry,
Oh,
that
man,
means
listen,
yes.
I mean, but that didn't play a big role unless you were like in basic training and you was going off base and AIT. Other than that, only time you wore it was like big celebrations, and you was. But when once you got to your duty station, after all that was over, man, you was ready to take all that stuff off, man. You was like, I'm gonna get this off. But in basic and training and everything, when you done lost that little, you got that little chest out, you standing strong, you like, yeah, I got my uniform on, you want to wear it, and you pretty much got to wear it everywhere you go. So, to the mall, to the grocery store, you wearing it everywhere, man. You like, so it gives you a sense of pride, especially when you first get in, man. You're young. That's why, I think if you're a young guy that's sort of on that fence, man, you better look into that option because it's going to immediately put money in your pocket and raise your bank account and help you lose weight, get in shape. And all the women, I'm talking old army, all the women, no matter what they look like in the face, was a 10 in the body. So I don't care what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And they had money and they was treating. So that's just my experience.
It's a great.
I heard some crazy stories from my buddies. Like, I remember when my buddy got shot pretty bad, and he goes, I got the worst erection when I had catheter in. He goes to me, I'm like, you know how painful that is? I'm like, nope, not trying to find out either.
That's crazy. If a man Lou said, my dad grabbed me during the swear-in, so I was never able to live out my dreams as being a Marine, but he let all my siblings go. Ain't that crazy? Now that's crazy. Lou, you was either the oldest or the youngest?
The baby. He the baby. Not my baby going. It's the baby.
Believe it or not, dude.
Let me ask you a question. And we gonna get into the show, but let me ask you a question. What was the longest you wore your mop suit?
Me?
Yeah.
So you gotta help me out with it. What the hell is a mop suit?
Gas mask, full battle.
Outside of basic training, going through the chambers and all that, I wore that one time in Saudi about 30 minutes. That was it. That was about 30 minutes the whole time. Yeah, that was it. I was with the 21st out of Fort Hood, so I got lucky because I got awards coming out of base AIT Leadership Award. So I was chilling, man. I was eating. I was out there I was traveling around Riyadh, going to the gold shops, going to the malls. I was living it good because everybody I was around was brass. So, I had a good time. In my 6 months, I was shooting basketball out in the middle of the desert tournament. It was a big facility. Like over there, everything is marble pretty much from the floor to the ceiling. And we were staying in a high rise about 7 stories tall because the people, they choose to still live on the land, so it was such a great experience for me, man. I used to sit up on the roof at night, and me and my buddy shoot ball. We go over and get some near beers and smoke some of them Saudi cigarettes. And I didn't even smoke, but it was just like I'm smoking Saudi cigarettes. So it was a great experience, man. I have no bad stories about Saudi Arabia.
The longest I probably wore mine was probably for almost 2 days. And yeah, what that mask is. And
suffocating feeling.
Well, water was up to my eyes, man. We used, and especially if in training, you'll break the seal. But man, being over there in the sand, especially like when you said what you saw, we used to have those air strikes. I wasn't trying to break my seal, bro, and it was crazy. I'm talking about like you lose so much water, man. It's something, bro. It is definitely something different. But I want to ask you guys, man. I want y'all to think back, being teenagers. What was your experience when it came down to talking to women. Did you do cold calls, or did you meet somebody through somebody and it was easy for you? What was y'all growing? What was your experience, brother?
Ooh, that was bittersweet for me. You're bringing some bad memories up now. I had no game back then.
Mhm.
You're talking to a kid who literally just came back, moved back from the States, from Greece. So I was learning the Greek game. So learning the American game was completely different. You know how many times I got slapped over the head by a woman because I said the wrong fucking thing? I'm just remembering it started hurting again. But I had no game. I probably had in high school 2 serious girlfriends, and that's it. I developed a game in my after, once I got out of high school and actually start learning the real game out there. Like that's where I actually had game outside of high school. That's where like, okay, this is how it works. I got it. I can handle this.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit! So you said 2 serious girlfriends?
Yeah.
That was it?
Yeah.
What about you, Ferg?
I was a football jock, man, basketball jock. So I just tell you how I'm gonna answer the question, but it's a unique situation. I would never forget, coming out of 8th grade, basketball little guy. I was being recruited by one of the best schools as far as football because my father went there and won state championships and had big murals in his name and big ass pictures. So that summer, I met, my little 8th grade friend. We was just friends, man. She chose me. We went to a little spot, man. She said, "Come on, I'm going to introduce you to this cake." I'm like, Shh. So that was great. But then when I got in high school, my next door neighbor, she was a female. Man, she chose me. She told me to stay out to school, and all through high school, I had one girlfriend. She wouldn't let nobody talk to me. Man, she wouldn't let nobody listen. By the time I was in the 10th grade, man, I probably was. I know I was doing too much by that time. I was doing too much. I'm serious. I was like, man, looking back, I'm like, I don't want no kid, man. I mean, it was a good experience when you in it at 14, 15, but shit, looking back, man, I was 2,000 leagues in, man. I'm like, she used to count them for us. Man, it was wild, man. Yeah, but she wouldn't let nobody talk to me, man. I couldn't have no other girlfriends, nobody date me. Huh?
She kept you focused?
Man, she kept me focused on her. She wouldn't let no girl come up to me. I'm telling you, man, it was crazy. She fought a girl in the school for me. I'm like, why the hell you fighting? She shouldn't be talking to you. Man, look, I got sisters. Luckily, I had sisters.
You own your
I had 5
ass.
sisters. Yeah, man, she was on me, man. She wouldn't let me do nothing. It wasn't until I got to college when I was able to,
it's funny because
slide
I
over.
remember the one serious girlfriend she had to mark her territory. She's like, literally, I'm not joking. This ass big hickey right there. I'm like,
Oh,
walking
yeah.
around high school, and my kindergarten girls were like, and everybody knew who I was. I was a karate kid. The kid was a karate. Goes like, oh, I know you didn't get kicked in the neck, and oh, you got sucked on very good by man. And he goes, hey, like, give me something. Like, okay.
So you ain't too far away from where we was at. That hickeys giving hickeys and stuff like that. That was kind of like putting ownership and all of that stuff on there. Hey, Lou say I probably had a serious girlfriend every 2 weeks between 8th grade and 12th grade.
You know what's funny about that? And I see that like a lot now. People who were having different girlfriends as they're growing up, and now they're trying to settle down, and they can't find a decent woman.
Hey, look, it was kind of like a mixture with myself.
Man, you were a fucking man whore. What are you talking about?
I was fighting it. I was fighting it. And
I called him right out on it.
He was fighting it.
I succumbed. Once I had to succumb to it. Probably about in my 12th grade, and then in the military, it got worse. Very bad for me. It was good. It was good and bad at the same time. So I'm like, man, What's going on, Andre? Terry, what's happening with you, partner? My man, King Jerks, what's going on with you, man? What's up? What's up to you? Salute to you, brother. Most definitely. But yeah, it was something different. But what I seen though, compared to what I see right now, we always had, women that were. You had those angry girls. You had girls that had ownership, like you said, had a girlfriend, and she was like, "No, who you with? Why you ain't answer my phone call?" And especially when there's no cell phone, so it was a little bit easier then. So we thought, but they would call that house phone in a minute, and they'd be like, "Why didn't you answer the phone?" Or it was something like that. Like I said, I had my own phone when I got like 16. And it was a little bit crazy. I hated that I told the girls that I had my own phone, because my father, he one of them dudes, like after 10 o'clock,
What the fuck you doing?
Right. My father was one of them ones like, hello? James,
What the fuck is this?
Going on your parents, they be like he on punishment. He can't have no phone calls for about 2 weeks. It was embarrassing.
Yeah. That was it. That was it.
That was it right there. My old dude, he was. Oh man, I used to be like, he just hating on me. But you don't do what you're supposed to do at school. You don't do what you're supposed to do at home. That was just what it was. Punishment. I was like, shit. Yeah. I know one. I think I stayed on punishment. I just couldn't get it right at all. It was one of the ones. You'll tell your friends your status in a minute.
That was my 7th grade year.
Right.
Yeah, 7th grade. 7th grade, man. I had these 2 light-skinned girls, man. They used to be on me in class, man. I swear to God, man. I was always respectful. And I knew I loved women because I would tell this crazy story. My father had a reel-to-reel. And I was one of those kids. I knew how to put the reel-to-reel together. So I'd be down there in the basement, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. Like, what? This is what I'm going in? So by the time I got, the 8th grade, it was on and cracking. And I was, I had a, huh?
What he had, a Panasonic, a Denon? What he had?
I don't know, man. It was a reel-to-reel. That's all I know. And it was, and the video and the tape was probably this big on the reel. So I'd be down there. Man, I got to a point, man, I used to have dreams about 10, 12 females every night on me till 12 years old. I was crazy. Right. For real. But once I had a girlfriend. A reel-to-reel, it's like it's before the VHSs, I think. And it was
it's way before that. Reel-to-reel, it's like it's like the old movie projectors.
Yeah,
the audio one. It had the reels, and then you had to take the tape off of the reels, and then you had to pull it all the way through.
Wind it through. Yeah.
Another one, yeah. And then you
guys, I mean, it's out of respect and love, you guys. Your guys are fucking old. I thought I was old. God damn, you guys fucking like. But I can blow out your dust will come off your bones.
But grooming, a lot of those technologies or lack thereof back in that day, it was a lot of manual. So as a young kid and young boy, you learn how to do mechanical stuff at an early age. So you, like I said, I had to learn how to wind it through and make sure it catches the reel right and flick it and move it up. I learned how to move it. I should have went into film in it because I can move it up to the scene I like, rewind it on cue. Man, I was good at that. I was doing too much.
That's one thing I would say towards your guys' towards the end of your generation and a little bit in mine, I would say you had to learn how to fix things. Like something broke. You're not going down like, oh, I'm going to GameStop, buy a new one, or I'm going, trades in to get whatever I can to get a new one. No, you had to fucking fix it. I remember fixing a lot of shit back then, even my old PCs. Oh, this broke. Okay, let's take it apart. Hopefully we can fix it. And it was no YouTube back then either. You call a buddy, yo, right. Homeboy, you know how to fix X, Y, and Z? Yeah, I'll be right there. I remember working on cars. Like, I have a box of bolts and the car's running. I don't know why I'm missing half this shit in there, but it's running.
Hey, this is off topic, but Ruben, I'm gonna tell you something that you probably never saw. The first GI Joe was a black man with a full
That I do
beard.
know,
Like
actually. I'm a big, huge G.I. Joe fan.
Big
Actually, I knew that one.
GI Joe, and I had one and a Stretch Armstrong. Yes,
Oh,
working on my muscle. I used to work on my muscles with it. Like, yeah. So it's great times, man.
I remember those
Manual.
old. It was like early '90s. Those workout videos. You had to get those little step stools, and you go up, down, up, down. I can't remember who made those.
Early '90s, bro. Early '90s, man. I was a grown man, man. I was in the surf. I wasn't stepping on nothing but some cake.
Yeah, early '90s. That's when I went in. That's when I went into the military, man. Absolutely. Hold on, I'm about to show. I'm about to show. This is a reel to reel right here, bro.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't that fancy, but it did the job. It had me. Yeah, that's a good one right there. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
It's a little brown.
Yeah, they all. Yeah, it's all different ones. You had upright. This is an upright right here.
Yeah, we had upright
tape. And this is when I was in broadcasting school. This is what I used to edit all my music and stuff like that. That's what we used to have to use. We had to do it the analog way first, and then and then after that it was on and popping. You know what I'm saying? But that's what a reel to reel is, bro.
Yeah,
that's what a reel is.
That's all. Grown, that's just part of our slang. Yeah, it's just part of our, reel to reel. That wasn't a technical word for it, but we always came up with unique names to name something just to make it fit who we were. So
yeah, it depends where you live too, and like what area. If you're from the ghetto, you're named something else. If you're from a nice neighborhood, you named it whatever you named it.
Hey, let me give a shout out to my homeboy Tez the Fire. That's my guy too, man. Hold on, I gotta give my man the hookup. We got him. We got the 5100 podcast with my man. I forgot my man's damn name. I ain't seen these dudes in so long. I ain't seen these cats so long. But when you just look up 5100 podcast, man. That's my brothers right there, man. Them dudes be on it. They be definitely on it, man. Lit, where you at, homie? Where you at? You say you smell like crab legs and bacon grease.
Yes, sir. They smell like pickles too, man. They all smell like pickles, man.
And Kush. And Hennessy. That's what they smell like now.
Do you guys remember when every girl used to wear those vanilla cheap ass perfumes?
Oh, no doubt. They had the cheap perfumes. They used to have the I know in Detroit, man, they had the liquor store lipstick, right? They used to have this one, I forgot, the Wet and Wild. That's what you seen all the women wearing Wet and Wild. You can get that shit at the liquor store. That shit was crazy.
It was a simpler time back then.
It was very simple back then.
Back then, you didn't care about name brands. You were like, you just wanted, you could buy a cheap shirt from Walmart and you still look good. Now,
go
ahead.
Groman, it was one name brand that you had to have. And like JT mentioned, when the woman look at your feet, as a kid, you had to have some Chuck Taylors. You wasn't coming out there with no Buck Taylors. Pro Kids was all right, but you had to have them Chuck Taylors. And then we got fancy. We started folding them down and doubling the laces, and it was all kinds of stuff, man. And then rolling your socks down like donuts. That was the time, man.
I played outside.
Yeah, style was something different back then, man. It was something different. This is when everybody had pros. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. It was definitely crazy back then, man. I loved it. Back in the day. It was popular, bro. Lou said, I got my own line. That's what happened. I literally lost my mind. Me too. Me too. I left my parents when I went to the military, man. I came back. I left my parents with a $1,200. And look, that was a lot of damn money there. It was a $1,200 because I never paid it no more for like a whole year. I just probably longer than that, man. Because it was like, to get a line. I think it was like no more than about $30. You can get a phone line. And that was it, man.
I think beepers were cheaper. Like what? Like it was like 10, 20 bucks
Wasn't
for a
even
whole
no
year or something
beepers.
like that.
See,
It
let me
wasn't
tell you
even no
something.
beepers then.
Wasn't even no beepers then, bro. When they started doing, they had them, but doctors were using them. You know, doctors and lawyers, you know, nurses. They had them in the hospitals and stuff like that. But yeah, once you had the street boys to start using them, that's when it, you know, it started being more of a street thing, and then next thing you know, it started being like rappers start having it. I remember, man, it was so funny. Cash used to have 2 and 3 beepers, right? And half of them beepers wasn't even on. They just found the damn beeper. And you can tell when a beeper wasn't on and when it was, because you can turn it on and then it go dee dee.
Yeah.
Somebody's calling it. Go, dee, 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 dee. A lot of dudes didn't know it, so they used to be perpetrating all in the doggone in the movies, you know, in the thing, because movies was even different then. It was something different. And that's how they were dressing women. And then you start seeing dudes having beepers on their hats. They start putting beepers on their, you know, they start getting snakeskin belts. Beepers on belts.
I remember my dad's beeper, bro. It was humongous.
Stuff. I didn't hear you.
I think my dad's beeper was like, it was like almost like that big. It was like humongous.
Yeah, they used to have some big. And that's what 304 actually came from. People kept saying, you hear people saying it was from calculators. It wasn't. It was from beepers. Literally from beepers. And that's what it was. It was a couple of ways. You had a girl that was trying to get in touch with you, and she was pissed off, and she'd be like, you out there hoeing. So she'll put 304 out there. Or you would have a homeboy that knew, you know, if you had a home, your girlfriend, you was with your girlfriend, he used to put 304, and then everybody started catching on what 304 was. It was like, we at the party. And he'll tell you, you know, give me a call, and he'll say 911 304 or some shit like that. It was all kind of codes they used to put on there, but that was one of the ones.
Like saying there was CB radios, like, you know, if you see a cop, you don't say, oh, he's a pig. You see he's a dirty bear there, and like that's you know, the cop coming up.
Yep. It was kind of like code. Yep. So King Jerk said, back in the day, girls was dope. You can have 5 of them in a crew. They all was different in personalities and style. Absolutely. You always had different variety. And they like being around each other. And they knew what time it was. They be like, it was the same way on how we did it. They be like, look, we about to go into whatever. It's a party or a block party or at the mall or whatever it was. They knew we going in bunches. You know what I'm saying? And the dudes already knew. One of the things that we used to always ask, if a dude was saying he was going to a party, the first thing a man going to ask is what? Is it going to be some girls there?
That's it. That's it.
Going to be straight legs. Hell no. And
we used to have
women and men.
No, I was just saying. Right. And that's the thing. Yeah, JT, it's like when you talk JT, when you get high, it fades out. In your mic, it's like when you get high.
Oh yeah, I'm probably too close to it. I'm probably too close to it. Sure.
But it was a little crew. It was some guys in my high school. They called themselves the Stangies, right? And their whole purpose was promoting parties every week. We threw a party 200 or 300, 400 deep every Friday during the summer and during the school. Every Friday in high school. It was the high school I went to was rich whites, project poor blacks. And when I tell you, we had all the whites coming down to the projects partying. We would have parties. I swear, we would have parties during the school year, Wednesdays, during the school day at these rich $600,000 houses, drinking that. I don't know what's the equivalent. Some at Don, drinking that high price top shelf liquor in high school, drinking all the top shelf. And they would like, my parents said I could have a party, and next thing you know, it's 500 people and ain't no more liquor. And it was buck wild, man. And it was a good time. Everybody made it home safe. Wasn't nobody walking around what they ain't got and jealous and fighting and shooting. Everybody, man, it was on every week, man. It was on. It changed when crack came, though.
My man, Mr. He said, what's popping, fellas, in the chat? Yo, JT, that Real to Real is fire. I know you got an MP 1200 and some Technique turntables. I still got some Techniques right now, bro. I am what they call a authentic DJ. I got 2 pairs of turntables right now. I got some Newmark P1 what is it? P or TT 121s, and I got some 12s. I've been having those 12s for a very long time. That was the first thing that I learned how to DJ off of. Both of them motherfuckers too goddamn heavy for me. But yes, sir. That reel to reel came out around about the same time that those 1200s was out, man. Them 1s and 2s, baby. Most definitely. Lou said when I first became recording engineer, we were still using reel to reel a little bit and moving to digital. That was the same thing. When I was in school, when I was in broadcasting school, that's what we did. We used reel to reel, most definitely. King Jerry said, do you remember the old school stereos with the wood frame and the turntables inside the turn? Yes, that was not for that you were renting. That was for homes planning on staying for 10 years. That shit, furniture right there, boy. God.
My mother had one for years.
Yeah. Man, I know. Damn, I was somewhere where somebody has it. They got one, and I was just like, man, they had to. I remember my grandma when she had it, and this was doing it. She had it for so long, and I remember because the records used to be a little warped. The older records used to be a little warped. It'll skip. And we'll put like a penny or a nickel, whatever one that it takes. We'll put that penny on that nickel book on there, man. And that's how I learned how to DJ. My father, he was a DJ before I was. And he had some, he didn't have no 12s. He had just some regular old turntables, man. But I made it work. I turned them things into some 12s because I was cutting up. I was cutting up on them things. My father, he was so mad when he found out because I had to keep getting his stylist. I had to keep going and get stylists and stuff. And one time I didn't get to the record store because they used to sell stylists at the record store. And I didn't get along with him. He came down there to play his records. Man, he found out that I did that, man. He damn near killed me, bro. But he found out that I was a really good DJ because he was hearing me. And then it just got to the point where as I got older, he was just like, he know what he doing.
That's what you do. Yeah.
Old school. Boy, out here scratching up my damn records. I'm not
it's funny. You're going to laugh at this. The first experience I had with music in general, my whole life, the first thing I owned was a record. My grandma gave it to me, and it was my uncles, I believe. And that's what they were listening to. And it was one of the first records, songs it was Michael Jackson.
Oh, and which one?
I can't remember. I remember it was Beat It is on it. That's all I can remember was on it. And Thriller. I can't remember the name of which one it was. I'm like, I remember listening to this when I first moved to Greece. I'm like, that's the only entertainment I had. I couldn't understand the TV because it was all in Greek. I didn't know Greek yet. And I'm like, I remember this little record literally was this big. And my grandma's like, turn that shit off. I'm trying to watch my show. I'm like, crank it up like a little fucking asshole I was. I'm like, I'm not gonna tell me what to fucking do. So that was the first experience with music I had.
Lou said he said I had to have those dope nights. So the ladies start. We say I was in trouble. What? Yeah. Absolutely. Mr. He said I still do have an old school gear pro kids. Yeah. Chuck Taylor's kangaroos. Oh my God. Those Reebok pumps. Oh,
I remember those actually.
Williams.
The pumps.
Dominique Wilkins, right? He had
the fucking what are they called? The light up sneakers that you walk in and had a little light strip in the back.
Was that LA Gears?
I think it was Nikes, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh no, it wasn't Nike.
I don't know if Nikes did. Was it Nike? I don't know if it.
I know when I was a kid, everybody wanted those damn things.
Those Reebok.
That was just light up. Yeah.
Look, I gotta go look. Damn, Mr. He said he still got them. But the Reebok punks, they had the little basketball and the tongue.
I'm surprised they don't have nothing like that today, though. I'm surprised, though. But most players wearing low cut tennis shoes. They weren't low cut tennis shoes. That's odd to me, you know.
It's weird how they got the J's. They brought the J's back out, and they're not cut the same way because you can get all different types of the first ones, the J's that the Jordans that they had, and I mean the ones that I got, they're comfortable. But when I got them when they was really out, like in the 80s, those shits was not comfortable, man. They were not comfortable at all. I don't even know how he can play basketball.
That's why he had his feet. Remember, his feet was tore up. He tore up his feet. They was all blooded up.
Yeah, with them damn. You might as well would have played in them chucks. Lou said I got my first one. I lost my mind when she would hello upside down.
Upside down. Yep. That was it. But also the cell phone was the size of a damn the cell phone was big back in the day.
Oh God, don't get started with that.
That turned me off. A cell phone was about 10 inches tall, had a big it wasn't going nowhere in no pocket.
I got even better one for you. Remember with the car phones?
Yeah, well, that's what the cell phone, but it was actually a fucking, a box. It was one whole unit that they had. And you had to carry that shit around. Listen, the money that they were spending on that then, can you imagine now? I know somebody got it. I know somebody got it. Reebok pumps, yep.
Some of the old phones actually worked up to, I can't remember what year they banned them. So you could literally pick it up with those old school backpack ones you're talking about, pick up and still make a phone call and not get charged from any service. And all the providers bitched about it, like, hey, we're losing money. Yeah. So they end up blocking it somehow.
They still haven't gotten rid of landlines, bro. You still got people in their house. They still can plug up regular phones. It was like they had that black man had showed that one video. Them kids were trying to do that rotary phone. They would that's crazy as hell.
Oh, I know. Because my mom refused to use a cell phone. It'd be cheaper to go with a cell phone. She goes, fuck that shit. And she threw it out of my fucking head and it missed me.
But here's the unique thing I like about the landline is that in case, and especially for older people, and I can understand, in case of an emergency, you pretty much are always connected. Cell phones can lose signal or whatever, but in that landline, even if your power go out, you can get a signal.
That's one thing, yeah.
Just to make a phone call. So for safety reasons, I can understand it.
Real combo right there, right? That's that real authentic combo. That's real. Is, man.
Dude, I was the warmer by me.
Remember the Walkman. Now listen.
Man.
You got everybody like that was the beginning of people being in their own little world. And the Walkman, like the way that they made them then were flimsy compared to now. Like now we use bugs and all that stuff now. But they were so flimsy, man. But I remember the Walkman, it was yellow and black, like the one that they were trying to sell. That Walkman had everybody doing it. But how long did it last long? No, I think it did.
That's a very long time.
For a minute. It lasted for a minute until we got cell phones. And then once we started doing cell phones, I think
the Walkman turned into the MP. The Walkman went from the Walkman to the the MP3, MP4 or something like that.
Walkman to CD man.
It was a CD man.
Yes, and then MP3, the Apple came out with a iPod, and that blew everything up.
Yeah, and then they made it where you can play. This is when you can start playing your CDs on that CD man in your car. So they made
that cassette thing. You had an adapter.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the adapter. Yes, I had one. Yes, sir.
I hated. I had a 12-pack CD player, and they had the 12. You could put the 12 CDs. Man, that shit was garbage. I'd rather had one. Because after a while, all your CDs start skipping. Then some of your CDs don't play. Then the shit don't want to eject. And I said, that's why they went right back to the one CD. That's why they was like, man, this shit is garbage, man.
I got even better one for you. I remember when people got tired of carrying that case, like you're saying. My cousin put 120 CD changer in his trunk. So he had the big guy touchscreen used to come out straight up like that. And he yeah, I go to him like, can you put a song I went to one time, or can I, you know, I can. And I go, isn't it fucking drunk? He goes to me, I'm like, I don't like it. It pulls over.
Yeah.
I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, right?
Right.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
Mr. He said the girls used to stay home in Saturday nights and do their own hair. Yes, they did.
Yeah, I used to have that problem one time.
Them raps, boy. Them raps. Hey, look, I knew what a girl was doing when they used to have it, and because I didn't know, I was like, "What's a rap?" And then I just started seeing how they used to do it, and at night, that's what it was. Their hair be down like this, and then they just rap. They take that comb and wrap it, and they tie that mug up,
Yes,
and
sir.
that was it. That
was it.
And then you had
That
the
was
ones,
it.
you had the girls, like they used to have the symmetric aids in the back, you know, had the little, you know, the lines in the back. It was, they had their own little style, man. I hated that shit.
I used to cut a lot of those hairstyles, especially with the V in the back. I used to do a lot of those female cuts when they had the little W, the V. They used to come over. I used to be like, I used to hook them up, man. That's how I made my money growing up cutting hair. I didn't know at the time at 14, I was a full-blown entrepreneur. I was making about $50 a day, cutting maybe 5 or 6 hairs a day. And they used to wait over my house.
I started charging $7. I got in the military. That shit went up to $15 damn because that shit was crazy. I'll be in there all damn day.
Oh
no.
Yes.
I got a better one for you guys. Yeah. When LimeWire was around, remember when you used to download all the songs down and make your own CDs? I used to before the CDs come even launch, all the music was on LimeWire, like a couple days ahead of time. Like I used to go people, the Eminem show. I remember when that came out, I had the CD before it dropped, and I go, $50. He goes, get the fuck out of here. $50 if you want it right now. Boom, cash. And people used to come up to me like, how the hell did you get this? $50. And I used to make money off that shit. People said, I'm not paying $50. And they had a week, a couple days, and everybody's already listening to it in school because the Greek guy had a hookup.
So watch this. They used to, I remember when the cutting edge of technology, when it came down to stereos, came down to the double tape deck, right?
Yes, sir.
And you had the tape deck where, instead of us going to buy the records that just came out and stuff, we used to just tape it off of the radio.
The radio. Yes, sir.
Radio. And look, if you didn't have blank tapes, there was tapes where if they already had it, where it had the holes in it, you had to put the paper in it, right? So you can hit the play and record at the same time, and you're recording.
Yes, sir.
Man, I used to be asleep. It was this guy named Mojo back in the day in Detroit, out cold. You ask anybody from Detroit if they my age or older, they're gonna tell you Mojo was out cold with it, man. And he never showed his face or nothing, but he had this voice, man. And he used to do he'd do Prince versus Rick James, he'd do Paul versus James Brown, or he'd do Prince versus the Time, or it was dope what he used to do, man. And then he had another one called Lover's Lane. So I used to just tape his stuff. If you look up Mojo now, if you look up on YouTube, they got some of his stuff, some of his sets that he did on the radio, man. That's how good that guy was, bro. I think they got a documentary on him too. It was pretty dope, but that's what we used to do. We used to tape from the radio. I know, especially my man, Mr. He said he already know in New York, man. I would have loved to be in New York doing the epitome of pop, dog. Just tape everything off the radio, all the songs and stuff like that, man. And you just, you pause it when the commercials and stuff come on, or when they just talking and shit.
That's
like
it.
That.
Yeah.
That was it.
But that might be 45 minutes later, though. You might be able to get a whole side of a cassette.
Yeah.
Record it before the first commercial. You might have a little bit, then you pause it like you said, then you catch a song. Oh man, it was a good time, man. All your engineering skills was coming out. So,
yes, sir. Memorex. Memorex
Yes,
is what
sir.
I was thinking, bro. Memorex. They had a commercial, and it was the lady. She hit that opera singer, and then it break the glass when she hits
Glass.
it. Memorex.
Yeah.
That's what it was,
That's
bro.
it.
That's what it
Memorex.
was.
Did you get
Now,
a pack
They
of
also
3
had those
for like $4?
yeah. Now this is the thing, also, man, because we shared a lot during the times that, like, with women. I know I had a lot of female friends at that time. I had a lot of male friends and I had a lot of female friends. It was like we were like a crew. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially on the block. We all just hung out. It's nothing like how you see how people are looking at each other right now. That's why when I be hearing some of these people talking, I'm like, can women and men be friends and shit like
Get
that?
along.
Yeah, they can.
Right.
I mean,
Yes.
you got the times where if you be around somebody long enough, somebody gonna start doing something. You know what I'm saying? So it's always. But when you are around, the way that the women were, I think that they were just a lot more nicer, man. I'm talking about black women, man. They were just more nicer. They were funnier. Like, these women be trying to be funny now. They can't even be funny now. I had a female friend, Wanda. She used to be so damn funny. She was funny like the dudes was, you know what I'm saying? And she was cool as hell. We actually were friends, but we were really friends with them. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that shit. That's why I get why people can be very agitated when they hear these people on these platforms talking, man, because there were times where I just remember being on the phone and everybody had a 3-way, right?
Party line. Call them up, put them on hold, bring them in. Party line. It'd be 12 people on the phone. 12 people just blah, 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 talking.
I got even
And when nobody arguing, when nobody fighting, everybody get to say their little piece. I'm gonna see you in school tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna see you tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? You talking about seeing somebody later.
And you know somebody about to get embarrassed because their parents pick up their phone.
Oh yeah.
Where is you sitting? You supposed to be in the bed.
Did I tell your ass get off that goddamn phone? I don't give a damn about your friend.
I'll give you guys an even better one.
I don't give a damn about your friend. Y'all supposed to be in the bed too, damn it.
Here's a better one. When we, at least when I grew up, we had walkie-talkies. We used to talk with each other.
Yeah. I had a couple of walkie-talkies.
Yeah,
like for my birthday, my father had bought me a walkie-talkie. It was pretty dope. I remember that, man. I got it confiscated. See, I was a little mischief. I wasn't a bad kid, but I used to do some dumb ass shit. My father tell me, "Don't take your shit
to school."
Took my damn walkie-talkie to school. Principal took it, confiscated it. He said, "If you want this money, you got to come get it." I was like, "Shit, you can have it, man." Right. Until my father, like, where walkie-talkies at?
Yes, sir.
Hey, my man, Lost in Translation said girls used to they used to take out their hoop earrings just to slow dance with you. Absolutely, bro. Man, we used to go. Yes. I remember my first time actually going to like a dance. It was a school dance, sock hop. And because, we used to party with our family. We used to party with our parents. So it wasn't hard for us when we go there to, you'd be a little shy, but then you going to ask a girl. It was automatic. I don't care if you was in the 5th grade, you could ask a girl to dance. And that's what it was. And they wanted to. And then I remember in the 6th grade, and we was slow dancing. Now, again, Detroit, we in our own groove. So if you was in the from the D, we didn't used to call it slow dancing. We used to call it socialing. We used to social, and we learned, and it was like a skill. You actually, it wasn't just going side to side, 2-stepping and nothing like that. You was dipping them like it was.
You was finding that rhythm of that music, and next thing you know, man, y'all vibing, looking like y'all been practicing for years and shit, and you just got that dance with at that time. So it was a beautiful time. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, now
I was
watch,
going
now
through
watch this. Grooming. There was a time that there was no rap. Wasn't nobody really playing no rap. So we
Well,
listen
hang on.
to
I thought it was a podcast coming through when I heard that. I make sure I'm
Nah,
okay.
it wasn't no rap. It wasn't no
time
rap,
when
brother.
Yeah, I know that. I was kidding.
they
Actually,
played
believe it or
slow
not,
songs. When the slow song came on, and we used to skate too. So it used to
Yeah.
be where on there they used to announce for skaters only, for skaters only. Or they'll say couples only, couples only. Like they used to make sure that they engineered for women and men to actually,
Mingle.
share and
You're right.
partake with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah.
like, and they started it from younger age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was a purpose of having
Yeah.
sock hops. That was a purpose of
Yeah.
having the dance. It wasn't for the boys. It was for the boys and the girls to actually be in a different environment and actually dance.
See,
So-
here's
Socializing.
a little history lesson because I'm a history buff.
That's why they called it social.
Yeah.
The slow dancing was social because we was actually socializing with each other.
So
Absolutely.
the foundation of music, believe it or not, is country music. A lot of people think it's rock, but it's actually country music. The thing about country music, square dancing, you're very social. You have to dance with it, and then you have to mix it up with the partners. And I mean like sexual. I mean like you change dance partners because
Yeah.
that's how the dance works. You go,
Yeah.
it says roundabout, whatever. I don't know the words, but I seen it. They usually
Don't say no.
grab one person, you switch the partners. And that's the
Yeah.
point of you. You can speak to the person. Hey, what's going on? Hey, you smell good, or whatever the case is. So that's one thing beautiful about the old school country music. Square dancing it was a lot easier to meet somebody back then.
Yes.
Well, I
yes,
was the square dancing. I was the square dancing champion back in the 7th grade. I was a square
You square
dancing
dancing?
champion.
I really knew that.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Back then, whatever the teacher had you do, it was gym class, so it was just part of the curriculum. I want to
Back then you're allowed.
when
to do that
nobody
shit.
sitting over. But when nobody sitting over talking about I ain't gonna slow dance, I ain't gonna do all that shit. If I got a chance to touch a girl and get close to her and let her rub, man, I was on it. I'm on that. I was dancing. I wouldn't care. I wasn't trying to be over it. No.
We used to be on the proud. That
So-
slow song come on, especially something that you like. Oh man, you better find out. Boy.
Some Isley brothers, some Isley brothers, some Isley
sir.
brothers, some Teddy Pendergrass or something. Shit, come on, man. It was only crack.
Yeah,
Some Earth, Wind, and Fire.
we went in fire. You talking about Switch?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that boy, that's switch.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely. Luce said, JT, you talking about Northland skate or the skating ring on Schoolcraft or Wheels? Yeah, both of them are still open. Both of them are still open, and doggone Northland looked the same damn way too, man. It's just a skating ring. You know what I'm saying? I thought about that. I said, man, I want to own me a skating ring. And then I found out how much the insurance is on that shit. I'm like, that insurance.
No thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
We used to go
Dude,
to
I remember
Robin's
we used to
Roof.
go and hang out at the mall.
Oh man, let me give a shout out to my boy right here. Glad you came in, brother, bro. Definitely, man. If y'all get a chance, man, definitely go over there to Do Better Podcast. That's my brother from the 313 over there doing big things over there, man. I love it over there, man. I got to get over there, man, and get a membership over there with you, bro. Most definitely. But again, salute to you, bro. Most definitely. Hey, Luce. Oh, I already did that one right there. I already did that one. Yeah. Okay. Alibaba. He said, JT, salute. Found your channel on Hassan's channel. He did a short supporting your channel. I support you. Alibaba. I support my man Hassan. Hassan out here, man. He out here doing it big, man. He's actually channel bombing a lot of us, man. He's a supporter. He comes over here and he gets it in, man. Salute to you, Hassan, man. I appreciate you, Alibaba. Most definitely, man. You already know it's the homie right there. Lean the boss up in the She's up in the building, the super duper supporter. What's going on, Lady Divorce? She says, "Hey y'all, fam, I made it to Chicago. You in the shy, back home from the holidays, couple of weeks, or just in case you don't see me, I'm with the Bloods." Salute to you.
Shout out to the
man.
South Side, 71st and Jeffrey. Shout out to the West Side, Orr High School, Douglas High School, Crane High School, 290 Maywood, everything. The Wild Hunnets, Pullman, Roseland. Shout out to all of them. You know what I'm saying? I spent 17 years of my life, met my beautiful wife there, man. It was the greatest experience ever. I'm all for Chicago, man. It's a beautiful place. You got to go see it in your lifetime if you ever get a chance. It's a beautiful place, man. For
Absolutely.
Real.
Beautiful.
Don't let the news fool you. Chicago is actually a nice place, man. 79th, baby, East Side, Marquette. What's it? Stony Island, all that.
Hey, look, I'm only 4 hours away from you, brother. I go there. I've been there a couple of times because I DJ, and I used to be in a little circuit with the stand-up comedians. So I had a little plug. One of the comedians used to plug me in to do some shows, and a lot of those shows came from Chicago, man. And I had a ball in Chicago. That was probably my first time ever being to Chicago for like a week. I mean, it was dope being over there. Like I said, I've always been back and forth. I done got family that lived there. I had an uncle that lived there since I was a kid. I was going back and forth. 4 hours away, y'all. Illinois and Indiana and Ohio and Michigan, right? That's where most of my family that moved up north. That's where we at, man. And then the rest of us, since our family had migrated up here, now everybody want to migrate to Atlanta. All right, y'all. Keep doing that Atlanta shit if you want. Keep doing that shit if you want. You better start branching the fuck out. It's more than Atlanta in the South, y'all. You got South Carolina, North. You got the Carolinas.
If you ever DJ in PA, let me know, brother.
Oh man, the last time I was in PA, it wasn't that long ago. I think I drove to what was it? What is it? I went there, that little place that it ain't little, it's a big ass place right there on the mountains in PA.
Mount Pocono?
Pocono, yeah.
I'm actually literally not too far from there. I'm like maybe 20 minutes from Mount Pocono.
Man, I had a ball there, man.
Let me guess, Mount Airy?
Yep.
I know Mount Airy very well. Dude, you gotta let me know next time you get in that area.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. It was a ball. I had a ball, man. But yeah, man. Chicago, yeah, PA. I haven't been in a lot of damn places, man. All over New York. I just never found my love for New York. It was cool.
It's bittersweet. New York's bittersweet. I'm from New York originally myself, and I love New York. It's a great place to be, but it's not somewhere I want to grow up, raise a family. There are other areas better. Like, as much I miss New York sometimes, the hustle and bustle, the screaming, all this stuff. Like, you can't find parking. You're arguing. Some like you want to knock some goddamn punk ass gaze in your face because he cut you off. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'll prefer the Pocono.
It's stressful over there. I mean, like, I don't hate it, but man, it's nice
to visit. It's nice to go once in a while. Like, I'm an hour away from New York. I go once in a while. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. To live there, I'm good.
No, anything close to that.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
No, I went there a few times. I hung out in Brooklyn a couple of times, went shopping. It's really cool for shopping, but I went to visit somebody, man, and they was telling me how much they paid, man. It was like we was living in a hallway, man. I'm like, it's living in this hallway, so I'm looking around like, where you sleep? It was a little, it was a twin. Hey, how much you paying for this? What, 1,000?
Dude,
Man, I was like, I
a
ain't
buddy of
remember, and that
mine,
was 20 years ago. Like, hell
a buddy of
no.
mine, about I think it was last year or year before. He was living in it was last year actually. Astoria, Queens, DT Malls. About the size of my studio right here, my office. He was paying $1,800. I'm not kidding you. No parking or nothing. And he moved to
No parking.
Colorado now, and he's paying half of that with his roommate. He's paying probably 800, I think now. He goes, dude, I can't explain how much money I'm saving. I should have done this a long time ago. Like,
Yeah, I mean, 1,800. You got to get your bang for your buck. That's the only thing I'm saying. That man,
you're not in New York.
1,800. That's a mortgage.
In a house in Astoria that I talk about Astoria that I know very well. The house to buy one is a $2.5 and up $1 million.
wow.
That's how expensive. I'm not. If you don't believe me, look it up, and then come ask me.
Oh, I believe you.
I know you do,
man, because that shit is expensive there.
It's too expensive. But anyway, guys, let me drop. I got work AM. I got to go to the gym and work in the morning. So I'll see you guys on Friday. All right. See ya.
No doubt, my man. All righty. That's my man. Lost in translation. Lost in translation. The man grooming and reviews, man. So nowadays, if you have, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can.
Okay. So nowadays, when we're talking about women switching roles with men, right? I want to start with this right here. Is it actually against the laws of polarity for a woman to actually ask a man out on a date or show that man that she's interested? Is it against, any type of law or anything? You think so? Have you ever been approached by a woman?
Yeah, I've been approached. If it was a law, then I know we've been breaking the laws for a long time when I was coming up, because it wasn't about, oh, somebody got to do this. It was like, if we saw somebody or they saw me or whatever, and they look good to them, the one thing that they would do is approach them. And, ask, everybody was always, it was like a little script. How you doing? What's your name? My name's such and such. I saw you over here. I want to come over and talk to you. You know what I'm saying? You think I can get a chance to talk to you a little bit, get to know you? And it wasn't all that old pushback, like, why you looking at me? I don't want to talk to you. And if she had a man or whatever, she would politely say, I'm dating somebody, seeing somebody. So, maybe another time. Okay, cool. And you walked off like, oh, man. You know what I'm saying? You went on to the next with the same little line. It wasn't like, oh, baby, you ain't gonna, man, whatever. You took your loss as well.
Yeah, I never thought it was weird. I said, oh, shit. Let me make sure my shit is in. Can you hear me? Can you hear me better now? Hold on.
Yeah, I can hear you. It just fades out sometimes.
Okay. I said, yeah, I never thought it was weird myself. It's just weird. But let me ask this. Do you think that women nowadays, that they can actually, say if they had to pull a guy like we had to pull them, do you think that they actually can pull it off? If we had the attitude that they had, and they had to actually come up with that rap that we had to come up with to be interested in all these different things. Because, they look at us kind of like, they look at us and they try to find ways to disqualify us, right?
Yes.
When with us, we look at them to qualify them. All right, yeah, she probably short or and a little front, but got a cute face. Look at it. They look at us like, I don't like his damn shoes. I don't like his shoelaces in his shoes. So they try to do that. What if the roles have changed? Do you think that they will be able to pull it off? Now, I'm not talking about in our age. I'm talking about the younger generation, the women in the younger generation.
So, and those women are dealing with the younger men.
Yeah.
Contrary to what I want to believe, and as much as a lot of these good dudes be out here capping, talking about they ain't doing this, I think they would be able to, just because these women now have really mastered the gift of the tongue, and they know how to use their words when they need to. Oh, they can pull anything off. And I think, and it just depends on guys, because if you're going by the numbers, a lot of guys are not out here even engaging females like that. But I think if that female that they thought looked good came over and said, hey, look, nug, I saw you over here, I'll just come out. Yeah, you go for it. I mean, when you certain age, you ain't turning down too much, man. You just getting out there in that field, man. You like, what? She like me? Especially she look how you think, how you want her to look. Yeah, they gonna go for it. It's just that I don't think they can hold it up long enough. If you give them any pushback, they sort of fade quick, like, you ain't, it is too quick.
Yeah. So the young, it's a young guy on here. I looked at it. I thought it was funny, and he gave his little synopsis of how women of today will approach guys with no rap. And I want to show this, man. It's funny to me. I want to see what you think about this right here. Hold on. Can you hear it? Oh no, don't tell me that they ain't got.
Yeah, it's like the sound right there.
It's purring.
Oh yeah, okay, here you go. Okay, so this is what he's saying that the young are now. Watch this.
It's giving fine. What? It's giving fine. What's giving? It's the face for me. It's purring. Purring. What are you talking about? My pussy. I don't know. Help! What? Help! Help with what? Because you're so fine. My man. Stop! Just stop. Just talk normal. That's all you gotta do. It's not hard. Talk normal. Like, that's it. You don't have chicken side. Stop! That had nothing to do with the conversation. Just talk normal. What is wrong with you?
I could just imagine, and what it was that it's like the music that's out right now, and that's what they were doing. That's what he's saying that the women would do. They would use these little IG shits or from music and stuff like that they listen to, and he like, they don't know how to talk to us, man. I'm like, man, that shit was crazy as hell. I had to just play. I found it a little funny, man.
I mean, that's the crazy part, because to me, at this point, when I'm looking at that younger generation just getting out into the dating world, I'm always going at 21, because 21, there's no boundaries and no limitations on where you can go. You can go everywhere, every club in every state, every country. You old enough. But it just amazes me how they don't have basic words to even get themselves, like, in the boardroom of the female or in the boardroom of the male. You want to be, if you see someone and you want them to see you, at some point you're going to have a hello, nice to meet you conversation. But it's funny that they don't have it, and we sort of, sometimes my ego, well, man, she ain't talking to me. Well, same and vice versa. Sometimes you just gotta be. When I was young, I felt that like there was no guy looked better than me. I never commented on how a guy looked, and unless I was joking with my buddies, I wasn't like, oh, he was ugly. I just felt like I was the handsomest dude, whether I was or not. But when I went up, and I looked at it like, well, if I go out, especially when I was single, like I'm gonna talk to at least 5. 3 of them might tell me, no, I'm gonna get 2. That's a good night. Because then after that, you start getting into murky water, man. It's too much to handle. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I don't understand it today, man. I just don't. I'm glad I'm not in that situation.
Yeah, man. I'm so glad that I'm not in there. But damn, it's still something. I feel bad for them because we got kids and grandkids and stuff that's coming up. It's just, oh man, it's just terrible. My man David Mata, he says, JT, same for me. I found your channel on Hassan's channel. LOL. Salute to you, JT, and Hassan. Salute to you, my man.
Okay.
Sir. Salute to you. Good looking out, man. Most definitely, bro. Good looking out. Good looking out. So I got another one. I just want to breeze through some of these videos that we have, and then we can go ahead and give our Sugar Bomb was in here. What's going on, Sugar Bomb? What's happening? What's happening with you?
Bomb.
Yeah, they got giving you the shout outs, boy. Most definitely, most definitely.
I appreciate it, man. I love the chat, man. The chat is, keeps you engaged.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely. All right. So this next one is, I want to go right here to I would never cooperate video right here, man. Just to see what you think about this, and then we can have the conversation right now.
Submissive, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like American men. We keep trying to change the terminology to make American women feel. We use submissive, yeah, I don't like that.
You say you want a woman to be submissive. Like I'm never going to be submissive to a man. I'm never going to be submissive to a man.
Now we try to say, okay, let's go with cooperative.
What was your problem with the word cooperate?
It's like you telling me what to do. Like, I have to cooperate. I have to listen to you. It was never given that.
Can we get the textbook definition of the word cooperate?
It says involving mutual assistance and working towards a common goal.
So we can cooperate together and make...
No.
This thing tired. It's like, you think that they're about 50-something years old, man. They don't want to cooperate. They don't want to just, it's like, no. Everything is no. When it has something to do with that, man, it's just no. So what do you think is the problem right now when it comes down to this whole thing? Do you think that is it just that they wasn't taught to have this type of camaraderie that we were talking about earlier? Sock hops, to dance, learn how to respect one another. As you get older, you start to learn as a woman that, the man that you like, you really, really like him. Do women even really, really like dudes anymore? Do you think that's over with? Do you think they've transferred trauma down to the next generation or something? I'm trying to figure it out until it got to the point where they just like, no, just no, damn it. And you're like, damn. And they be like, wait, that's why you looking like that? They got all of them got the pout phase.
I was trying to hold that face and talking that voice with them lips because, it's just, hey, I don't know, man. I hate upside down smiling women. If they got an upside down mouth, I don't even look at them. I just bypass that altogether. But it's funny how the young women are speaking in this capacity, like they are setting their lives up for the next 40 to 50 years to say, I ain't working with no ninja. I'm gonna do it all by myself. I don't care. I'd rather go through hell or high water than to put myself in a position to have a man protect me. I can protect myself until that big burly dude slap you upside the head. But they speak it, and a lot of it is just based on one thing I know about women and men, when they get around men and it's a group of them, and they all feel like they look good, because it ain't about what it actually is. They feel like they look good. They sort of all co-sign to the same thing. They co-sign to the same verbiage. If one person said, yeah, I ain't gonna do it, just because they trying to hold on to that fake sisterhood. But let them same girls and their boyfriend walk in the room and their boyfriend compliment the girl. Why you talking to that bitch? She ain't cute anyway. She this and she that. It's just amazing to me how the youngest and the most probably dateable generation of men and females are speaking that way towards each other. We talking shit. These motherfuckers 21, 22, JT. We damn near 50, 60. You mean tell me you gonna go all this time without a mate? But you're gonna be screwing up them. You're gonna come up with 3 kids and you screwing like a motherfucker. It don't make sense to me. It don't. And then they wonder why they look up and they broke in 10 years talking about ain't no good niggas. No, because a good dude, he was willing to work with you and build with you, but you ain't want him because you want the nigga with his pants hanging and them tight ass jeans on, hanging out, not working. You know what I'm saying? It's just amazing, man. I have no answer. Thank God for crack. Bring back crack. Bring it back, man. Bring it back, because that's where we stuck at. Might as well bring it back. This is the time, JT. Come on, man. You know, man. Go back that time, man. You like we just talked about having little dances with each other as teenagers. Yeah. They already burn out. They burn out by as soon as they get to the club. These people are burnt out. Ain't nobody dancing. Ain't nobody slow dragging. Everybody up against the wall, smelling like old underarm deodorant and shit, cigarettes. You know, it's just sad to me, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it seems like that is they haven't struggled. I think it's going to take for the generation after to be able to struggle, and then they can find out, because this generation, I think they got too much variety. They got cell phones, everybody in their DMs. Nobody is really, but they're still not learning anything. I know next week I'm gonna do a show, and I got the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, a couple of clips what he was talking about with relationships, man. Because I was gonna do it for this show, but I said no, this deserved to probably have its own show. But yeah, man, it's just, you know, this whole thing with submissiveness and all these different, but it's not all the women. This is the thing. This is why I like some of these shows, like the Wrap Up Crew or Wrap It Up Crew or whatever it is. I think it's the Wrap Up Crew, where these guys are really talking with young ladies, right? And I love this, that they're talking to them. They got another one right here where you can kind of see that the young ladies are not really agreeing with each other, but it's like that sisterhood thing that we were just talking about, which makes them kind of be on the fence with stuff because they don't want to offend their sister or whatever it is, man. It's crazy as hell. This is the one right here. Let me play this one right here, and you tell me what you think about this, right?
Are just evolving. I feel like men are just becoming more comfortable within themselves, and I feel like we have boxed men into
they have no more men.
You have to be specifically like this, and now that men aren't like that, we're like, oh, you're not last.
Hold on. 30 and up are there.
Now, I watched this whole thing, right? And that young lady right here, she literally, and you know, she's kind of young too, but she started to be on the side of relationships with men and all these different things. But watch what this young lady after her starts to say, and watch how the conversation is just, they're talking at
you have to be specifically like this, and now that men aren't like that, we're like, oh, you're not last.
Hold on. 30 and up are there. Anybody my age is not a man. Like, I don't know how y'all. I don't like people for their ages, but y'all seem like the last line of men. With everything I love, because niggas my age, they're not manning. Like,
what age is that?
I'm 23.
So you gotta give a man time to develop into it, man. Just like those women aren't. They probably saying the same thing. These women ain't women.
Women.
So, it's like the angst out, and I watched the whole thing, man. And the guys, those are actually some nice guys, man. And they bring the women up. They're very respectful to them. I haven't yet to have seen them have these pretentious conversations, right? They have actual conversations. It don't even last that long. And you just can't get some of these women to just be nice. Like the one lady, it was like, why are you just so mad? She was like, all of the dudes that's my age ain't men. And now they got this new thing, they're not manning. You know, it's like the math is not mathing, and men are not manning, and all this crazy ass shit that they saying. But it's just like, damn, the dudes were talking to you like you were not, like they like you, but you just can't make it up into, yourself to do it. So it's crazy. It's real crazy. Hey man, we got some brothers up in here. Let me go ahead and bring the doc up.
Uh-oh. What's up, Doc? You on mute.
And then we have the OG of OGs, my man.
Speed only.
What's poppin', man? How y'all doing today? Or tonight?
Test.
All right, I got you, Doc.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay.
I don't got J Speed. We don't got you. Go ahead, give us a test. Go out and come back in. We've been having that problem big time. Trey had the same issue. He had the same issue. Doc, what's going on with you, man? Uh-oh, I think the doc is out too.
Oh.
Yeah, he probably
JT, before he come in looking at, and just hearing a lot of the rhetoric that's going around, with the younger generation females, I can see it just being based on where they talk. Everything about their whole life has been a fight. They've been fighting. And most of their fighting starts within the home, maybe with mama, another sister, another a brother. So they've been fighting. So they carry that same fight to the streets. And everybody that don't align with their thoughts, they'll, verbally fight them, physically fight them. There's no boundaries pretty much anymore, because in one hand, they're being told that they can do whatever and discount brothers, but on the other hand, they still being restricted. They still being restricted because it's only certain places that those type of women can go anyway. They can't move freely all over there. They're gonna go from one hood to another. They're not just out there in a place to be seen by viable dudes that's on their square. They, just like they try to overlook those dudes overlook them when it comes to settling down, building a family and relationship with, so in one sense, I can understand it, but 24, 23 years old, their brains ain't fully developed. They wearing that weave on their head. It's going to distract the oxygen getting to their brain. So they're going to have distorted thoughts anyway. So I just pray for the young guy who's trying to build a life for himself. Focus on yourself, man. You can't focus. If your first girlfriend is a weave wearing woman, you done already lost, brother.
I kind of look at it that way too. I do, and it's funny because they tried to get us to stop talking about it about 20 years ago. It's getting worse. It's not just, and now it's not just it's just not the wigs and the weave. It's the eyelashes and the long fingernails and it's not even just that. It's the attitude that they bring with it. It's like the attitude is an accessory too. You got the eyelashes, you got the weaves, you got the makeup, you got the fingernails, the BBLs, if you can afford that. And then you be like, okay, I got to top it off with a bad attitude. And yes. I blame on LL Cool J with Around the Way, the song he had
Around
Around the Way.
Girl.
I want a girl with a
A
bad
lot of,
attitude.
but JT, a lot of these young women today, they haven't even heard that song. They just going off what they aunties and big sisters and mama dress. The uniform code, I blame BAPS. That's my go-to right there, BAPS. BAPS put the light on sisters for the world because, again, BAPS was a movie. It was shown all over the world. And that if you notice, that's been the same uniform that they have been wearing since that movie. It's gotten worse because now you see all these big old cleavages, these big long ass cleavages. You know what I'm saying? Look like a big ass truck driveway. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, come on, man. Nobody want to see all that, man, on a Sunday out to church, man. Everybody at the park with their booty out, the kids looking at booty, the little boys, little girls. Now it's just too messy, man. It just stink out there to me.
Absolutely. It's crazy. It's a cesspool, no doubt about it. Lou says, we live in a time where Russell Wilson is looked at as Dilbert. Who is Dilbert? Who is Dilbert? Lou? Sugar Bomb, she asked the same thing. Who is Dilbert? I must have a
character.
Who that is. Hey, what's going on, man? What's poppin'?
Hey everyone, sorry I'm late. I had some things to do.
All right, can you hear me?
Applause.
Sorry.
Thank you. Yes, Doc, we hear you. Give me a minute.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I just wanted to get in before you started since I got here before you.
I wanted to just introduce myself and just say I apologize to my audience for being tardy to my show.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. But without further ado, Dr. Kumbi, most welcome guest here on Unapologetic.
Yes.
Something to say, and his insight is very much so appreciated and welcome and wanted here. So, Doctor, if you will.
I Good point. My bad. Good one. I just wanted to push back. Unless we were having a PBS special or ABC or CBS or senior night special, our audience, who are we talking to about what's hot and what's not? When I was coming up, they didn't have the long nails and all the weave stuff. Unless you had alopecia or something or whatever that was, or cancer, there was no wigs or weaves. I mean, there were wigs in the world, but no one my age group was wearing. Those like grandparents and stuff, smell like moth and stuff. You know, they had those things, but people my age, they weren't doing it. And so, what do we say to those who actually do like it? Because we live in a cancel society. Will we agree with that right now, currently?
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
notice all the things we talk about haven't been canceled. So I wonder if there's an actual appreciation. So meaning we would want to wake up the Pookies and the Ray Rays, but wake them up to our dream, because their current dream is accepting of the nails, the hair, the dancing. You're right. We went dancing the little few times I went. You didn't just sit down. You were the oddball if you were the flower on the wall. You were the oddball. And then someone came over and got you nudged or whatever, or put something in your drink, help you loosen up, right? And then anyway, you get it. So what do we say about the young people who actually appreciate the young ways, or the new, not even to say young, the current time, appreciating the current time? What do we say to that?
I think they need to grow up.
Grow up to what though? To grow up to level up to whom, or to what?
To what?
Yeah, because level up to, like, this is a crazy analogy, but I want you to be sales manager next year. I want you to level up to management at my level. I want to see you in my role next year. So the level up is to my role, or my thought for you, my happiness for you, or my expectation for you. So when we say grow up to what?
Oh, grow up to self-control, self-improvement. Focus more so on that. That involves education. That involves valuing yourself to a higher degree, because people see. And again, I'll leave room for error here. I could be wrong, but from my point of view, with the behavior, it appears that people don't value themselves the way people used to. You know what I'm saying? In times of past. You know, I'm talking about in particular with the dancing and dressing way too provocatively. You know, a woman goes out, she's scantily clad. You got some moron thinking that that's an invitation to not only approach her, but to put his hands on her in an unfamiliar way, in a way that she does not want it, you know. But you got some guys out there who think this way, that it's okay. You know what I'm saying? They think just because she's dressed that way, it's okay for him to behave that way, and it's not. It's unwelcome. It's unwanted attention with the hands and whatnot. So it's unsafe, and that goes into a part of people not valuing themselves to a certain degree. And I think that comes along with maturity. It comes along with experience. I would say experience, but there are people who experience it left, right, and center all the time, yet they still do it. You know, they still dress scantily clad. They still go out and what do you call it, twerking and popping and everything. They still do these things, even though they met the danger before and somehow survived it. You know, and a lot of women have not survived it unscathed. They've been taken advantage of in the worst ways possible, and yet they still continue with the behavior.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by valuing yourselves. Protect yourself if you don't have anyone in your life who's trying to help protect you as well. You know what I mean? Some people get the advice of this is some ways that you can protect yourself, but they take the advice and they dismiss it. They strike out against knowledge. They want to do what they want to do, and do what you want to do, but the consequences are going to come. You got to be ready for that too, you know.
Right. And I'm gonna step back. I see a couple brothers join. Welcome, gentlemen, to the panel. And hello to those in the chat. I just want to throw one more question, then I'll just dump it off and then leave it there. I also believe in, because like me with my clients, I can say whatever I want, but it's really in the delivery. Like I could tell them they're all kind of dumbasses, and they'll eat it up. But it's really my approach, you know, am I partnering with them? And they're like, yeah, I am a dumbass, or dang. And so when I think about that, I think about back in the day, we had our dances. Do you remember our parents? Do you remember the rock the boat?
Yeah.
So realistically, and see, I don't know how much. So we had, I don't know. Oh, that might be too loud. I don't know if that's gonna hear the engine noise. Here, I just want to do this. So we had rock the boat, and you were nasty if you were rock the boat. Don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. Remember getting that low?
Yeah.
And our parents, I don't mean to make that image in your mind, but our parents and the people that talked to us was like, oh, ooh. Now rock the boat is twerking and is, look at that nasty bitch. Some nasty motherfuckers. So I also think there's no buy-in in people wanting to change because you think I'm fucked up anyway. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. I'll leave it at that. I'll go in the back. Thank you.
So that makes sense. Thank you, Doctor. Appreciate it. That makes sense. You know, you can't approach people in a hostile manner like JT does all the time. You know, I've talked to him and several other gentlemen that, listen, you got to be flexible with your delivery. Some people can take it. Most people cannot. People these days, they're not made of the same stuff that we are, JT. I tell them all the time. These kids today, they're made of they're soft as baby shit. You know, they can't stump their toes without thinking that they can't stump their toe, JT, without them thinking the end of the world is coming. You know, they can't get their heart broken without thinking that no one loves them and no one ever will. I mean, you know, as JT, you got to be easy on these kids, man. They're soft. You know, he doesn't care. You know, he's like beating a worm with a sledgehammer, and he don't want to listen.
You know, it's not you. You definitely know it's not me. That's that guy being in the mirror that you see every morning and every night.
No, it's not. Now, JT, you and I've had that conversation, and I watched you. Yeah,
beat up to me. I've been good ever since.
You so, man.
Tell
I don't
the
know what's
truth
wrong
and
with these
shame the
kids.
devil.
Hey, tell the truth, shame the devil, JT.
Hold on.
Now, I want to be clear. I'm not talking about soft. Because I believe shame has its place. I'm not talking about being softer and kinder and more gentler. I love the fact that you said, let's not be foolish. If you're putting yourself at risk, then we need to talk about it. But I mean, honoring, respecting, or holding that space because it hasn't been canceled. Meaning, if the guy was a knucklehead and she was a knucklehead, they haven't canceled that message out, and it's been going for so long that I'm wondering, what do we say to that? Because it's working for them, if you call that working.
I was
about to
ask,
say,
is it working?
Say that too. I'm like, is
Yeah.
it fair to call that working? I mean, they put themselves in environments that they complain about, where the people that they complain about socialize, but they throw themselves in those environments. And I've taken to these days, like if I'm on a panel with some women, that's like, ladies, where are you going to? So the guys that you want to pay attention to you, you're clearly not in this areas where those guys socialize and congregate, however you want, whatever nomenclature you want to use. But you're not where those guys are, because you're getting too much attention from the guys you don't want. So stop going to where those guys are. Go to the places where the guys you want socialize, because they do get out and they do socialize. You need to find these things out, And so I've taken to doing that, like at least pointing people in the right direction.
Is JT changing over to the light skinned team?
No,
JT handling business, man.
JT is so dark skinned, it ain't.
No,
JT's still JT.
Though.
No, that's just AI. That's just AI that did that. It's trying to help him out by lightening the skin up. See, me, Doc, and Trey, and Lost in Translation. We don't have these problems. We don't have the problems
out there.
Yeah, we don't have the problems that y'all have. You and JT.
Hey, Mandrell. Tell him.
I can't help it that I'm custom made. I can't help it that I look good, smell good, can dance all night long. I can't help it.
Can't help it. We can't help it. The light skins can't help it.
Mandrell. Hey, Mandrell, Wesley Snipes set the standard. It has fucked y'all up for 35 years.
Oh, what happened? Where's Wesley Snipes now? He's a third of the size. He has a third of the muscle. It
made no difference. The way he slammed that girl against that wall and put it on that counter, y'all haven't been able to make up for that yet. You're gonna need a couple LL Jabars and all of you motherfuckers to go out to come out there and group.
Right, he couldn't even think of no
Mandrell, you better tell them light skinned babies come from somewhere, and then show them come from Wesley Snipes.
You usually come from the postman if you're living in the wrong neighborhood.
I doubt it.
Yeah, they come from somewhere.
But anyway,
when I left, milkman.
Yeah, it wasn't milkman. I wanted to say, because I don't know how far y'all don't want to head with this conversation, but we get these clips and we play these clips, and one of the things we got to know, Jerry Springer would not have had a show for all the years he had if he had went out there and got the people who was like the common people. So we have to deal with some of this shit being outliers. We just go have to, because some of the things that you hear may come from a certain group segment of that group, but I think we try to make a lot of this shit normalcy, and it's not. These are outliers who go on these shows, and the people who host the shows know exactly what they put in there and what they're putting out there.
Doc, you're on mute.
Thank you. I was gonna say, totally agree. Like, there's a section of the market, because that's in Hollywood, but it spills over into real life. Like, that's a good indicator. Even our platforms, right? We hear time after time when we give knowledge or something, a couple of people. If you show something about some craziness, some fuckery, numbers light up. So it's kind of the way of the world. Not saying it has to be that way, but I totally agree with JSP what he's saying.
Well, somebody agrees with the old man. I heard that. Doc, you
think that's unusual? You think he's sick or something?
I think so. I thought all psychiatrists, psychoanalysis, all you alienists out there, y'all go see somebody too, right? You sure have you missed a few appointments, Doc? I'm just asking.
No, it just made sense, because Jerry Springers, Ricky Lakes, Donna Hughes, all of them. I don't know who the current. I don't know who the current.
Jesse Raphael.
Yeah.
The current is Mandrell 212 or something like that. I don't want to make that last number wrong.
I think YouTube is the new whatever those shows were.
Most certainly.
Yeah, daytime TV, and it is because what I've finally accepted is that people are not on these panels to look for answers. They're not here to look for solutions. They're just looking to be correct, even if they're wrong. They're just looking to be right. That's it. They don't want to learn a lot, the vast majority of them. But then the danger of it is that you do have people who are in the chat, and a couple of people who will come up on these panels who really are looking for answers, and in the wrong spaces to find them. That's the danger that I noticed. You know, you do have some people looking for answers, but the few that I've recognized, I'm like, I flat out told them, look, you seem to be looking for answers. I am looking for answers, Mandrell. You ain't gonna find them in the spaces you're hanging out in.
So, Mandrell, that said like a true champion. How many doctors you had to go to before you found the right one?
About 8.
Okay. So the consistency of what's going on in the net is consistent with what happens in real life in that case, right?
It can, yeah.
You see how he got humble?
With what? I'm always humble.
I ain't say that.
I'm always humble.
I ain't saying that, Madrid.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. How many people are actually going to put in the work? If your whole life has been pressed on the easy button and everything has been given to you easy, or you thought you're supposed to do everything one time, how many times you really going to, go to that 6th or 7th until you finally get to that 8th doctor, or flip to that 10th or 11th, 12th channel until you actually find the answers? You see what I'm saying? Your algorithm is going to algorithm. You know what I'm saying? It's going to give you what you're looking for. And if you ain't looking for it, you probably ain't going to find it. Ain't that what the old Chinese man said? The teacher will appear when the student is ready. I think people have to be ready at their own time. You know what I'm saying? When they're ready for the wisdom, But
the association with that is, and we know this as just regular human experience, what we try to find in life is somebody who's doing worse than us when we really don't want to work on ourselves.
Yeah, it's easy to point at somebody who's doing bad.
And
you know what I'm saying?
They don't know when they point one finger at somebody else, there's 3 pointed back at them. They just ain't never looked at their hand.
Well, and I'm gonna be talking about this tomorrow too, about solutions, because I'm gonna drop some hard facts tomorrow about solutions. But here's what I want us to consider. For those of you who are parents, you didn't get a manual. You can only go off what you've been taught, what you've seen on TV, and the rest is experiential. If you experiment, let's say you have a problem of overextending. You're always saying yes to everyone, overextending, yes, I'm gonna do, and you find yourself disappointing a lot because, dang it, you keep overextending. You keep offering, knowing you really can't, but you don't want to disappoint. Cool. So one time your kid asked you to go hang out somewhere or do something. You say yes. And the second you said, like, you couldn't even finish the yeah, and you already knew, damn it, I already have 2 other yes, I already have 2 other commitments. Now, internally, you are determined not to fail them. So what do? You maneuver, manipulate, make stuff happen. You told a lie over here, you switch around over there, and you showed up for your kid. Now, internally, you just manage 3 different things. So then when someone says, you're doing too much, actually, I don't think that I am. I've had success with the very thing that you're saying is a problem. The very thing that someone else is telling me I need to get help with internally, because you didn't even know in that event, you didn't even know I had 3 other things scheduled, and I made it work. So the challenge is an internal battle. So when you say to someone, I think you should get help with that, one, you have the group that doesn't want help. I don't know if I want to work. You don't know if you want. Man, I've been living with my parents, and so you have that group. Let's move them out the way. Yeah, the other group who they've been taking care of so much, they don't know what the work is. A job is going to keep the lights on. So they never even been told what the work is. It's like no one look in the dictionary for a word that you don't know how to spell. And then you have the last group, which I'm speaking to now. In their mind, they are doing the work. Stop getting played. YouTube is full of people talking about people getting played. Stop getting fucked over. Stop picking the wrong relationship. You need to have this. You need to have. Those are the core things. How to make money. How to make money. How to be on top. How to. So in my mind, I'm at the right spot because that's what the information is. Same. I hope that makes sense. Where there is a group of people who they actually think they are doing the work.
Do you still think that it still comes from the generational gap, though, as far as, when we have people, you learn from the first generation that comes with a generation that comes before you. Do you think that that has a play on it also? Do you think that people are doing away with tradition entirely too fast, and they're not, using, something to say, okay, well, we need to upgrade it, and instead of them upgrading it, they're just doing away with it, and then they're coming up with their own way of getting help or their own way of, because I hear a lot of women talk about healing, in relationships. This whole thing about heal, or, when they're talking to one another, you hear somebody, like you were just saying, they would diagnose that person as, you need help. Are they really saying that that person really needs help, or are they just telling that person that, it's kind of like telling somebody they sick, but then you're holding them in contempt because of what they don't know, or the things like that. So yeah, that's the things that I'm looking at also.
Yeah, I see it a couple ways. The presidents, when we have like we go, well, you can only go 2 terms, right? But we it seems like sometimes we do Republicans, Democrats, Republicans, right, in office, out of office, the next term. I think of the generational thing like that too. Now, which generation? You have to go all the way back. If you want to say Adam and Eve are the first ones, or if you want to say a fish jumped out of water and did whatever. But from every generation after that, the generation ahead of them learned. So usually you hear me talk about 3 generations back, 3 generations forward. My daddy won shit. Why wasn't he shit? It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. So then the next generation hears it doesn't matter. So that generation says, y'all need help. Y'all need healing. And then, damn, I saw my school counselor. Damn, I saw a therapist. Damn, people said, y'all's problem rubbed off on me. We just need to heal. So that's where I suggest that healing comes into it, because it's really about y'all messed up and need help and you didn't get the help. We need healing. But to answer your question, yes, every generation before us, even before the boomers, every generation impacts the next generation, knowingly and unknowingly. Halloween. When I was doing Halloween, I can go out, any mask I want, no mask, whatever, a pillowcase for a bag. And then the next generation, they said, oh, you got to be careful. People are putting razor blades in the apples. You can't get fruit. So I couldn't get fresh fruit anymore. And then they were putting razor blades inside the candy things and gluing them back. So then you couldn't get even the mini bites anymore. So everything went to cold cash. So every generation, and then earlier and earlier, it used to be able to be at 9, 10, 11 at night. Now, 2 p.m. parties where we go around after the community and do some group Halloween trick-or-treat. Every generation.
Yeah. Or trunk or treating.
Yeah. I remember that too. Yes.
Down at the church, you know what I'm saying? The trunk or treat, right. The candy has already been blessed. You know what I'm saying? You already know where it came from.
Absolutely. But I got one more video, man. Let's see if you guys have something to add to this right here. Like I said, I had got a couple of small videos that I had on here, but I'm gonna play this last one. I think it's the last one. But I'm gonna play this right here, man, and see what you guys think about it.
Do you shoot your shot at men?
No. Well, shooting my shot is very subtle. I might look at you, and then I'm gonna look away, and
You hit him with the eyes move.
that's it. The guy is gonna feel it. Either he's gonna be interested or he's not gonna be interested, and he's not gonna come. But you gotta be open, like show that yo, I'm open. It's okay to come and talk to me. You don't gotta go and walk to him and be like, yo, I find you cute. Like, no.
You know that most men are scared to approach women.
Yeah, but if I look at you and I'm smiling, I'm letting you know it's okay to come. I'm not gonna bite you.
First of all,
Whoa.
you don't read no minds.
I don't know. Did you hear what she said? If
Yeah, I heard what she said.
You should know it's okay to come.
Yeah.
That's a winner. That's a winner in my book. Smile at me all day.
She was actually beautiful too.
She was.
Lost. What would you have to say on that, bro?
Man, in this Me Too environment, no, cause you're gonna wind up like Jonathan Majors around here, man, trying to run for your life, running down the street, man. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. You gonna have to say something to me. It ain't gonna be none of this. I will stand at you cross a crowded room business no more. No, he's giving me the ick and the creepies because he kept looking at me and I was looking at him and all this other food. Ain't nobody got time for that, man. I need somebody that's decisive, man. I ain't got time for that. Yeah, you look good, but you know, all this going back and forth, I ain't got time for that.
Anybody got something to add to that?
I mean, I think it's workable. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. See, a lot of times it's perception. You know, if I ask a female for her number by myself and she says no, if I ask in front of my boys or a group and she says no, the perception is all of these people just watch me get rejected. So I think if she was winking at me and headed my way, you know, first I look behind me to see if she was looking at someone else. And, you know, kind of one-on-one, it works. I think if I'm in a crowd or whatever, I'm a little more suspicious of what this means. Like, is it a setup? Are the breasts real? You know, just different things going through my mind. And I just want to manage my perception. I'll just tell you a quick story. There was these two who went to high school, and the girl, she was hunchback. I don't know if you hear about people being hunchback anymore. Hunchback.
Yeah.
And there's one guy was in a car accident, and he had eye damage. He had eye damage, and they actually, you know, they call it glass eye. Back then, he had what they call wood eye. And so they went to the party knowing no one was going to pick them to dance, but they wanted to be part of the entertainment. So perception is I'm weak and fragile or I'm handicapped. Don't be mean to me. Okay. So they go. Anyway, she's sitting there watching stuff. He looks across the room with his good eye and he sees her sitting and he's like, well, shit, maybe I should go ask her to dance. She can't tease me. I'll tease her back. So he heads over. But all in between the trip there is what's going on through his mind. Same thing with this lady. What's going through my mind as she's approaching? I might damage a good opportunity. Anyway, he gets over to her. She's thinking, oh my gosh, is he coming to me? He's not coming to me. He gets there and she's like, yes. He's like, oh, hey, listen, I was looking at you across with my good eye. She said, yeah. He said, I was wondering, would you like to dance? And she was so stoked. She said, oh, would I? He said, well, fuck you, hunchback. Because, you see, because he thought she was, you know, talking shit. And he was ready for it. And she wasn't ready for the ask. So I think it's a mindset. If you're ready for it and you're prepared, I agree with you, Lit. You got to be safe 1,000,000,000%. But if it feels right, feels good, try not to let those perceptions get in the way. Go with the flow if it feels safe.
I know with myself, I would, I wouldn't be able to. If I was out here trying to date these young women right here, I probably would be me too, like a mug, bro. Because I'm one of those guys that where I'm just gonna, if I like you, I'm just gonna come and holler at you. That's just what it is. And we
got that old algorithm.
I'm gonna be Jonathan Majors all the way around. You know, the type of approach that used to work back then may not work right now. And it's damn, man, it's just it's sad. I got two feelings. I feel great that I don't have to deal with that. because it was stressful enough when I was coming up trying to build myself that to be the type of man that I was when it came down to women. And I can just imagine now if I was 16 trying to come up in this world right now, I'll be confused. I'll just be confused. I didn't take what my father's generation, my mother's generation told me. I didn't throw it all out because we shared so much together. Like I understood exactly what it was when a man was to walk up to a woman, for instance, when he wanted to dance with her. He will actually grab her hand. He will, and then he would ask her, and they'll just get up. Even if they didn't really want to dance at that time, they'll still get up and dance with you because I just think they were a lot nicer. I think they just was a lot nicer. And I have no idea of what's happening right now, bro. That's why I keep saying when I be on these panels now, man, I ain't really got a lot to add when it comes down to advice.
Well, JT, look at it this way, man. Back in the day, we used to have a dance floor to go to. Now we just at the bar or what you call it at the VIP. You know what I'm saying? And everybody popping bottles. Ain't nobody dancing for real. Everybody sofa sitting, bro.
Everybody leaving broke.
Exactly. Everybody sofa sits. Bottle girls coming with the sparklers and everything. Ain't nobody dancing, man. Could you imagine walking into one of these chicks and I was staring at you from the side of the room and I was wondering, would you like to dance? She gonna look at you like, well, man, ain't nothing on but this twerking.
Ooh, you a creep.
This booty hole brown. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be. Can't you see I'm over here with my girl celebrating my birthday? What you got on the Cash App? That's what you gonna run into. That's what you gonna run into. You see what I'm saying? That's right. That's what you gonna get.
And you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Our risk doubles when we're being cautious. Give an example. Jonathan Majors, damn, I can't do it. When did we get concerned about him? Previous to his case or after the trial?
After the trial. Right.
I was worried for the brother in the beginning because I already knew what was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Some people, some right at the beginning, interracial, blah, 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 black man, da, 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 da. But usually most people, they get concerned after something happens. And when that sting wears off, like have you ever seen a baby born? I don't know if you ever seen one like fresh out the coochie.
Yes.
And it's stretched all out. And then if you watch the placenta come after that, it's like, oh. And then if the mama pooped and pissed at the same time, and you're like, God damn. And you told yourself in that minute, that's the last one. I'm never putting my mouth on it again. I'm not sticking my dick down there. No, that is it. Right? And then how long was it? 6 days?
About 6 weeks, baby. That chilling bag smell the wall.
Right? And even if she said, remember the baby coming out, shut the fuck up, huh? So I think, I think we have to take that into consideration that yes, those warning signs are there, like yes. But when it comes to intimacy and feeling connected and rooted and loved and getting some pussy, those sometimes slip out the window. I wish we had either more reminders or had greater standards.
Yeah, I think most guys are desperate. I think a lot of dudes are very desperate. Because I have no choice but to revert back to my own anecdotal experiences of being young, like what they are right now. And yeah, I never had to be desperate or nothing like that, but I knew some guys that were. I knew a whole bunch of dudes that, because we used to hang out. I used to hang out in groups, but in our groups, we always had the guy that was really good at getting the women. We had guys that were mediocre at getting women. Then we had some guys that just hung around us because they didn't get any women and they felt that was their chance to get the woman. But at the end of the day, he still had to put the work in. So he always ended up, if he did get a woman, she was the 3 o'clocker. She was the one
shy
that
girl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the one that was holding everybody's purses and coats.
Yeah,
that was the one that was sitting at the table, or it could be the one that was drunk as hell, then embarrassed herself all damn night, and wasn't nobody messing around with her. And he was like, well, shit, she's friends with homeboy's girl and she opened. So, you know, the 3 o'clocker, but it's a desperate move. And then next thing you know, he out here getting Esther pregnant. And now his ass is like, I shouldn't have never did that because it's just a desperate move. And then you had the guys now where, again, that Cash App shit, these girls are bold with it too. Well, they just be like, I mean, what's up with the Cash App? You know, you can't talk to me unless you got some type of social, you know, proof that you balling or some shit like that. What we doing tonight? We drinking? You know, you got to have your own plate. Let me see what kind of car he got in the parking lot. And so guys get desperate. Even a guy that's actually doing his due diligence, the man has a car, but it may be like a 86, you know, Accord, Honda Accord. And he don't look at it like my shit running. I'm getting from point A to point B. I work it. He like, I don't want to show that. Most guys they would take a doggone lift now. And they have a car. And they would sit back and I'm like, man, it's cool if you drinking and stuff like that. I understand it, but most of these guys ain't doing it for that. They doing it because they don't want to be embarrassed. And it's like, you do understand you own a car. That's all it is. Now it gotta be, you know, something that women find that in order to sleep with me, that's what you gotta have. They got a girl that was sitting there talking about dudes that was driving certain cars like a Prius. You can't get no ass if you got a Prius. You can't get no ass if you got a, you know, some type of Honda and shit. So
well, they should be talking to their mamas. They should be talking to their mamas because their mamas was busting it wide open in the park. Their mamas, you can be on the 10 speed. If you can balance at 10 speed, you might be able to get a little bit on the ride home. So it's amazing how the poorest of us, the poorest of us have this mindset. And it's sad because of the brothers, you know, your car is part of your confidence, regardless of what kind of car it is. I rode in cars with friends. Niggas didn't even have a floorboard. You had like some cardboard and your heater might not work. Everybody was wiping the windows. But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So it's just a crazy dynamic today how all of those basic things that we loved them and we appreciated them from the jump. Now they looking at it like, man, I ain't driving no 2006. What the hell are you talking about? Why you didn't give me the 2023? You know what I'm saying? People are looking at stuff outside of their pay grade. You should never get a vehicle or anything outside of your pay grade. Stay within your pay grade. But a lot of these guys, I look at it now, it's my favorite ever, my crack era generation, man. They are only focused on the vanity of everything, not the substance. That's why a lot of this dynamic is just, I'm scared, man. I ain't gonna lie.
But Tim, how do you think we got there? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mandro.
Bottom line is these kids, it's how we got there. There's no one answer. There are many answers to how we got there. To you know, kind of start with what you were where you're headed, Doc. There are many answers to how we got here. A lot of them, because there's a lot of reasons why we got here. You know, one of them, which is a lot of people are spoiled. They're entitled because they've this entitlement because they're spoiled. You know what I'm saying? And this whole thing, you know, and they want to be in with the in crowd. They want to have the best cars, but that's everyone. But young kids don't understand that things like that are earned. You can't give people too much. Yeah, you want to do for your kids, and you want to do the best for them, but you can't. And it's okay to spoil your kids. You're supposed to, but you can't spoil them rotten. And I think that line has not only been blurred, but it's been erased. It was never blurred to begin with. It was just flat out erased at some point in time. I think that line got erased with one generation. We had one generation, Gen X. We grew up with baby boomers. The baby boomers were shit. And so when we had kids, like, I'm not going to raise my kids that way. I'm going to do better. I'm not going to do what my parents did. Because I hear this a lot. I hear this a lot from modern day parents. You know, I'm not going to do that. And they don't. A lot of parents don't spank their kids. You know, a lot of parents don't use harsh language to their kids. They try to talk to them. Even I see them, a lot of the kids that do disrespectful things and say disrespectful things, and they don't discipline the children for that. It doesn't matter what kind of discipline you use. Okay, anything short of abuse, they don't even hey, tighten your ass up. Don't talk to people that way. They don't even talk firmly to the children. So if there's no real consequences, okay, then why shouldn't I take then what's the next step, Doc? Why shouldn't I just take what I want? There are no real consequences to it. Why shouldn't I talk to you, a person I don't even know, the way that I want to talk to you, no matter how disrespectful you may take it? There are no real consequences to it. Why should I just take that ridiculous balaclava off of JT's head? He don't need it. I want it. There's no real consequences to it. He's not going to hit me. Who is he? He's not gonna, what he's going to do? Hit me because of it? No.
Right. Well,
his glasses. Take those shits off, man. I'll slap him off his face. It's that thing, and people don't understand. People don't understand the consequences to that. They don't really understand the weight of the decisions that they make.
Right.
And that's the thing.
So one thought is, because I still want to open that question, because I agree with it with what everyone was saying, especially JT and Trey when they're talking about because back in the day, you remember them Tokyo cars low to the ground, or the Hondas that were low to the ground? That was the shit. Now if you say you have a Honda, So the question is, why is it always a one up, like a level up, like what Trey was just saying? You rode a bike. Your mama met your daddy on a bicycle. They were bumping grind at the park, mosquitoes biting his ass and shit, and they were out there just
picnic table, baby.
Right. And now all of a sudden you got to be in a $300 luxury hotel so the up level. Now part of it, the natural part is there is a natural part of our growth. You know how you get to that stage where you realize you passed your parents, and I don't mean like you could handle them, but you don't. But where you pass your parent. So there is a natural element of growth where you feel like, yeah, the way y'all doing it now, like, yeah. And there's an educational component. Remember when we were counting on the Chinese rule, the 1, 2, 3, now they just whoop and boom, they got the answer. So one person feels less than, the parent feels intimidated to help them even do a math or homework assignment. And the kids, they feel that, and it rubs off on them to where they feel like, listen, you're old school, don't worry about it. Let me do it my way. So it's actually a vote of confidence. So that's my answer to you, Mandrill. Like they do it because there's a vote of confidence that I know what I'm doing. You can either call it arrogance, overconfident, blah, 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 or just correct. But my question is also to Trey and JT, why the one up? Why no matter what the generation, because each generation did it. Why we were on bicycles, but you have to have, we were behind a tree in the backyard, but you better have a.
Doc, if I may, Doc, I think the real reason why is because the constitution of the nuclear family has been disrupted. Okay. So what happens is when you have separate families, you have a lower financial floor to start from. So what happens is people try to fill in the gap with material things to have them to identify themselves with things that are higher quality. And that's the main reason why a lot of women say, okay, if you don't have this, then you ain't that. But see, if you ain't came from a lot, then that seems like it's a lot from you. We hear it in these conversations all the time when women say, I'm making my own money and I'm doing good. And you find out how much money they making, and the guy's like, that ain't no money. I was making that in high school. But to her, that's a lot of money because she's never made that amount of money before. So I think that's where the one up comes from, because of how our families are structured now. Our new normal has a lower floor. So therefore, we feel like we have to make sure that we elevate to make sure that we catch up with everybody else, or to make sure that our emotions catch up with who we think we are, and also to make sure we have a certain level of social proof based upon what we drive, where we go, where we eat at, that type of thing. And for some reason, we seem to believe that those external things seem to actually make us when they really don't. You see what I'm saying? So the minute we separate ourselves from the things that we have around us to actually who we are, that's when we don't feel the need to actually have to do all this other stuff. And we'll actually get to enjoying life a little bit better, in my personal opinion.
Right. I saw a comment from Alex. Alex just wanted to say, because earlier you said the candy and the blade was a myth. Let's roll with that. You know, that fear factor. And that's what I say, you know how many families, so even if you say, well, it was a myth, it never happened, but it impacted like an entire generation of people who believed in that, who got sucked into that. So, you know, we can go, you just put a certain amount of fear in any generation and it will impact how the next generation works. So just wanted to honor or validate what you were saying. And even with that saying, but damn, but it's still impacted, even if it's just one family, it's still impacted somebody.
Right.
Yeah, I look at it kind of like the same way when it comes down to like that family, that nuclear family. And I know Alice P. Keaton, shout out to you. He was saying that the lack of nuclear families isn't the reason. I think that it is a huge reason.
Huge contributing factor.
It's a huge contributing factor. Absolutely. One of the things I've noticed that not just with myself, but with a lot of my friends, they mimic their father. They literally mimic their father. I did it and I wasn't even trying to do it. You know, everything that my father did, I did that, and I probably did more. You know, it was the whole thing when it came down to, like, for instance, with my father, all I've known him to do is be a worker. He worked no matter what it was. He had his own business. He worked for somebody else, had his own business again. And he did anything from landscaping, tow truck driver. He had his own cab business. It was a lot that he did. And the funniest thing is that a lot of those things I may not have been, you know, like a tow truck driver, but shit, I was a mechanic, you know, and I also did recovery and things like that. And I just mimicked my father, and a lot of my friends did too. With what I see now is that I don't know if it's the parents are not there. I just don't think.
I'm gonna tell you, it's definitely the parents, because think about it. In the 60s, when the dollar was worth something and black families were all together, we had upward mobility then. We didn't use money as an excuse to buy things that we didn't do. We had money, it was because of the overflow, because of what we thought about ourselves. We thought we were black excellence. So as a result, we had enough money to do what we wanted to do. But now what we do is we actually spend money on stuff we can't afford to impress people that we don't even know. And that's how we get into debt. So that's the reason why we continue this cycle of people trying to one up their neighbors all the time, or their girlfriends. Girl, he took me here, he took me there, and all this other foolishness. Or, you know, I took my girl over here. I mean, for what? You know what I'm saying? Because you don't feel like, you know, you done made it. You know, it's not. It's coming from a different place. It's not coming from a place of excellence. It's coming from a place of acceptance. And I think that's the main reason why we have the situation we have now with the girls with the cash. Well, you really don't need no money. You just trying to test me, because you in here spending money now. You know, if you didn't want to holler at me, just say that. You know, or you can come at her and say, hey, look, I mistook you for somebody I might have been interested in. Thank you for your time, and walk off like a G. You see what I'm saying? That's how you handle situations like that. But at the end of the day, you know, if you're using stuff to validate who you are, then, you know, you might want to dig a little deep on the inside and find out who you really are. That's all I got to say about that.
Alex P. Keegan said, yes, adults lie to kids unnecessarily and cause a panic. Let me tell you one thing that I was looking at. I was looking at a video, and I might be using some of it with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, not Elijah Muhammad, but Louis Farrakhan, right? And he was talking about this whole thing with the parents and the siblings, right? He was talking about the kids. He was like, let's think about how you would have that one child who will do everything that's been asked of him from the parents. He's doing everything, but you always had that other sibling. He was talking about actually brothers. He was talking about men. He was talking about women. So when he was talking about he was talking about how we naturally were veered from our parents, right? we were very naturally. It could be all of the kids, or it can be a couple of the kids. And what he was talking about was it's a natural thing that and the doc was already hitting on it also, where we veer a certain way in life from our parents. All the shit that they say, we'll be going along with it, but then we come to a term in our life where we be like, well, that's not so much as old, but it's kind of like outdated for us, right? Which I think that is a natural thing. I think it is a natural thing. But this is where it gets to the point where we have to raise the question, how do it get to a point where the generations are where they're at right now, where we just don't, it seems like we don't have that connection with one another at all. And before I let you guys get on there, let me go ahead and get my man over here. Oh my God, I see you, Tommy. I see
What
you
up, Tommy?
What's up with y'all?
What's happening, man?
Wanted to say something.
Good evening, Tommy.
What's going on, dog? So like this is one of the things that kind of irks me about our generation and prior generations is like the romanticizing of our coming up. Just like you said, oh, I have your mom on them handlebars. Well, when I drive by my six.
Oh, I wanted to hear what he had to say. Come on, bring it back. I know you're in his truck, so it's going.
Yeah.
Come on back, Tommy.
Tommy always got some good stuff to say, too.
Yeah. No doubt.
Tommy, if you there, we can hear you, man. Oh shit. Well, he'll come back. He'll come back.
Left us hanging on the handlebars. Damn.
Right, man. Tommy always has something good to say too. Always.
Oh, no doubt. Hey, Lou, he said we live in a generation where we value the word and the deeds of Instagram influencers over community.
Gotcha. Yeah. Tommy, you came back, man. You left us at handlebars.
Yeah, it's like every time you get on this thing, somebody want to call you. But no, somebody said, I'd have your mom on the handlebars, which okay, I get you. But then as soon as I drive by on my 6'8" thing, she getting off your handlebars and in my car. That's always been a thing. We're not gonna act like this is something brand new. My dad was fixing up cars to get chicks. That's always been a thing. But we also know the majority aren't going to have those things. So the majority aren't going to have those things to get girls. Girls can demand what they want to. Are they going to get it? Mostly not. So we have to stop highlighting this as if this is like this. Where's this issue come from? That's always been a thing. The guys with the nice cars always got the chicks. This ain't new. What are we talking about? Like this is... My dad and him had clean ass candy painted 6'8" stains for a reason. It wasn't for the fellas. When we was in high school, why was the girls choosing on them older guys? Because they had the cars. This isn't this all of a sudden this new generation. Oh my God, these guys want girls with good cars. What are we talking about, dog? We have to be honest when we have these conversations, or it's no sense even having the conversation. This isn't nothing new under the sun. This has always been something that's happened. If you had the nice car, you probably was going to get the pretty girl. That's how it's always been. If you had a car and somebody had a nicer car, it's a chance that guy with the nicer car might snatch her. It's always been like that. This ain't this generation. It's not new.
You're spot on. You are spot on. If I'm not mistaken, though, I think because when I jumped in on that part, I think they were talking about. I grew up. My mom and dad only made 30,000, but a guy who's going to be in my life, he has to make 60,000. So I think the idea was, well, just like your mom and dad were riding bikes, now the person has to have a car. So I hear what you're saying. You're spot on with that. But if I'm not mistaken, I think we were. Is that what you like, Trey? I think you were. Yeah, was that where you were going with it?
Oh, my bad.
Oh, I'm done.
Tommy. So brother, how old are you, Tommy? How old are you?
I'm 41.
All right, so you like first generation. When crack hit the scene, you was probably 10, 11 years old. You was a young G. I was in my early 20s, and prior to that, coming up through high school, it wasn't about what we had. It wasn't about if you had a car, like I said, I had friends that had a car, didn't have no heat. He had 2 or 3 girls in the car. He had a girlfriend, a guy that that could, again, I had a cousin, this dude could ride a skateboard. He rode a skateboard till he was in his 40s. He always had a girl on his skateboard. He didn't even get his license till he was in his 40s. The dynamic changed really as your generation became adults. And it's just the time that you've been in. Not everybody was in that life, but it's just that time. And as you see now, since you've been a man, that's been a thing. It's about that car. See, it changed, the dynamic changed. But prior to that, your mothers didn't choose their guy based on the car that they had. They chose him because of his character. Now, the girls in the street, it was about.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me ask you. Hold
Man,
on, Trey Ferg. Let me
I
ask
don't know
you a
where
question.
y'all was from, but
No, hold on. Let me ask you a question, Trey Ferg. Why was my dad putting candy paint on his car?
Of course, for the women.
Okay,
that's him.
Now,
that's a guy thing, though.
Now, wait a minute. We can even double back to the 50s and look at the old school movies with Fonzie in them. Who got the girls? The ones in them Bel Airs, right?
Those was just girls to have fun with. You wasn't picking up your good mama with that. A good woman, you had to go over her house, meet her daddy, uncle. It's a difference. A girl in the street, you go have fun with all day long. I'm gonna pull up in the car. What's up? What's up, honey? What's up? And she gonna come over, cover the car, get in, and then that you on for marriage. But somebody that you looking to have a commitment with long term, she ain't care about your car, brother.
But I hear what you're saying, and it sounds good. But that was the bait. Now, was she in it 100% just for the car? If you found that out, then yes, she would end up being a fun girl. But the bait, us as men, the bait was, let me go get this fit together. Let me go get this. It's the reason why the pimps back in the days had them Cadillacs. And of course,
the goofy ass suits.
And in saying that, we're talking about fun girls, so I got to give you that. But another thing too is, and this is what kind of irks me about, the older generation is even like the romanticizing of those women. When we start getting older and we hear the real stories of our grandmothers, they wasn't as sweet as motherfuckers was telling us when we was growing up. They wasn't these Susie home baked. You know how many people I've known grandmas and stabbed, shot grandfathers?
Yeah.
They wasn't these Susie homemakers that we try to make them out to be. Oh, I met their parents and we got married and I just wore these long flower dresses and it was happily ever after. My only problem and what I try to do as far as like with my generation, I try to keep it 100, dog, because the generation before me did not. They romanticized their upcoming and they lied. And I don't want to keep that coming. They told all of the good. They told none of the bad. And that's a huge reason why our generation is where it is, because it was a way to look down on the next generation. I'm watching my generation do it now. I'll give you a perfect example. My generation talks about how sexual the women are right now. I don't see not a single reflection of a freaknik in this generation. But we had one. We got 40-year-old women trying to sue to get people to hide pictures of when they was our age. But then they're going to act as if, we were so wholesome when we were your age. What are you young girls out here doing? When we talk about the little youngsters right now, oh my God, all of the killing. I'm sorry, our M rate was double what they doing out here. That's a fact. You can look the numbers up.
No, I can tell you this. In case you guys didn't know, I'm from Detroit. I'm always say that shit. 313.
Yeah, that's nothing to be proud of, JT. I keep telling you that.
313, stand up, boy. We always in there. What up, though, boy? Watch out now. But what you're saying, absolutely, there's a lot of truth to that, because what I've seen, again, with my parents, I didn't realize until I got older that I was a anomaly, right? Now, this is the thing. My father, the reason why he raised me and my brothers the way that he did was because he didn't have his father. His father died when he was 2. And his mom ended up having 3 sets of kids. It was 9 of them, right? It was 3 sets of damn kids. His younger brother was 8 years older than me, which we was still in the same, almost in the same generation. He was the end of the boomers. But man, when we grew up, we hung out together. And my grandmother, she was trying to find that same thing that she found when she first was, when she was 16. She got married at 16. And her husband was a cab driver and he was a minister, right? But she came, and that was in Mississippi. But when she come to Detroit, it all changed. And the boyfriends that she had, I remember one, that motherfucker was a straight up thug. That motherfucker was a thug. And even on my mother's side of the family, my mom, even though she had 10 brothers and sisters, and they all had the same mother and brother, but shit, it was fucked up with them. So I agree with what you're saying. However, we still had some type of bond that was there. You dig what I'm saying? And I think it did come from a lot of people romanticizing their past. Now, this is the thing that I always ask people. Do you guys still have picture books, right?
Yeah.
We had a shitload of picture books. You seen how the women was dressing there. They still had the teenagers they was wearing skimpy shorts and stuff like that. Now, the women were a lot smaller, but they looked like they were black women, right?
Right.
That shit just didn't come. What we looking at right now didn't just come out of thin air. It does.
But here's my thing, JT. It's easy for people to say, hey, you're romanticizing, but if that's what they experience, that's what they experience. Just like we're not going to tell somebody else, hey, what you didn't experience, what you didn't, because that's what happened on your side of town. Hell, it wasn't until I got into my 30s I found out that most people in my age grade was divorced. But in my immediate family, nobody was divorced. So my perception was people didn't get divorced. You see what I'm saying? So in reality, on other people's side of town, they was getting rid of each other left and right. You see what I'm saying? So romanticizing is also perception, what you've been exposed to. So I can only go by the numbers and what we see. The numbers don't lie.
Right. And that was the thing with me. I'd be a fucking lie if I told somebody I was a fucking street dude. No, I had exposed to it. You know why? Because I had cousins that was in the streets and shit like that. I was exposed to it. Absolutely. I just chose a different route. But I get what Tommy is saying, because this is the thing. I started going when I really started honing in on funerals. I can't stand funerals. And I'm going to tell you why I can't stand funerals. Because these damn obituaries be some straight up fucking lies, man. These obituaries be lies. And you be like, everybody had found Jesus at 12. Everybody did?
Every time.
Or right before they died.
Or right before they died and all these different things. You like, no. A lot of times that they were the main person of their death. They was drinking a whole lot. They was partying a whole lot, messing around with somebody else's old lady or somebody's man, whatever it is. But when you see that obituary, they romanticize that person's life. I'm like, well, shit. It's getting to a point where people are saying, I'm about to start just writing my own obituary right now, because they see the lies. They see how it's being romanticized. So I can say this. Tommy brings up a good point, because that is also a contributor to the gap in the relationships between generations. I can see that. I can see when somebody be like, you act like I was, because it's been people in my family that have been talking to me like I was a fucking kid or something. And I'm like, I was a grown ass man when this happened right here. You talking to me like I wasn't there too. And they're lying, straight fucking lying about it. I do get, man, that's a great contributor.
Yeah, it's like, my thing is, if you just think about it, when you hear people talk about their generations, how many of them generally ever talk about the bad?
The women always talk about that, because they always bring up slavery and cooking and all this stuff, foolishness, and their granddaddy cheating on their grandmama. So the women don't tell it. You know what I'm saying? The guys may not always be in it, because they be outside playing. They don't be listening to grandmama and them conversation. They be outside with granddaddy turning wrenches and painting them cars, them candy apple colored red cars, you know what I'm saying? Like your daddy was talking about. But most of the time, guys wasn't exposed to that. It was women who's spreading that because women still do it to this day. They still do it. They always talk about how granddaddy, granddaddy got another family on the other side of town. You know what I'm saying? It was always that.
I
Women was the ones who talked about
I think they to weaponize it, they over exaggerate that.
Yeah, I think they do borrow other people's trauma. Though you're right, Tommy.
Yeah, but I think my thing is because so one of the good things that we have is like comedy and like movies. It literally narrates what's going on in culture at that time. So if I can go back and look at a movie and look at a comedy special around your time, and they're literally talking about the exact same stuff that's going on in this generation, what are we talking about? You get what I'm saying? Like some of these conversations that are being had in these spaces right now, we literally looked on YouTube and they was having the exact conversation in the 60s. We've seen it already. People pulled it up.
I did it, Tommy. Me and my sister. Me and my sister did that. We from the 60s, the same exact conversation.
Word for
my
word.
sister and I, yeah, word for
But
word.
somehow
We played that
nobody in
video.
the 60s knew that these same problems existed. And that's my thing. And so why I said that, because like I said, I'm 41. I'm watching my generation do it as well. I got to argue with one of my cousin's friends because she's on Facebook talking about, and I hit her with, wait a minute. Didn't your generation raise these ones up?
Right.
No.
Yes, you did.
No,
Yes,
you did.
where they get it from?
This is what I told her. I said, matter of fact, because I think she's about almost 10 years older. I said, matter of fact, your generation was the first generation that a teacher can talk to their kids. Your generation was the first generation of mamas that went up to the kid and told the teacher it was their fault, not their kids. It was a whole bunch of, and of course, she didn't take accountability for it, but literally women, not gonna lie, women got in the comments and said, he kind of making a point. He kind of making a point. And so my thing is, I'm watching my generation, and because I'm not pointing at necessarily y'all like the older guys. This is every generation. If you look at, let's look at music, right? Old country guys hate new country music. It's just what happens. Oh, our music was better. Da, da, da. It's just what happens. My thing is, like JT said, it's what creates the divide. Because it's like you get to this point to where the new generation can't do nothing right, and our generation did everything right. And that's when you start getting the middle finger, because it's like, you know what, whatever.
I don't think nobody's saying that one generation was better than the other. I think they're probably saying their experiences were different.
People are saying that.
No, hold on.
You can't say that because each generation had their own stressors. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm not saying anything against that loss of translation. Right. However, the way people, like Dr. Nkumbi said earlier, the way you deliver your message, the way people come at some of the younger guys and the younger generations, it does. I understand the younger guys playing. It does come off that way. I see it. I'm like, okay, I understand how it can come off that way, like y'all saying that you're better than them or whatever the case may be. I do see that. So some guys take it that way. I'm like, me, I don't take anything. I don't take stuff like that personally. I don't. You know what I'm saying? But so it doesn't bother me. But when I see how the young guys take it, I'm like, all right, I see that point.
Let me give you like an example from my generation with the rap thing. Our generation rapped about selling drugs. Y'all rap about doing the drugs.
How's that better? How's that better?
No
I'm literally talking to dudes my age, like, oh, so that's the point? What are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? So
that sounds crazy.
You know what I think though, for real? I think I think the leap from manhood from generation to generation is greater. And I'm gonna explain to you what I mean by that. Back when men were coming up around about the 60s, 70s or whatever, you know, they had to get a house a little bit earlier, you know, about 24, 25, you know what I'm saying, that type of thing. The floor for manhood was a little bit lower. You already knew what you had to do, go ahead and do it. But now the jump is so great because you have to learn how to deal with these new women. You got to deal with the environment. You got to deal with social media. You got to deal with all this other stuff. And then you get to be a man. You see what I'm saying? But here's the thing. If nobody is actually walking those boys up to the point where their manhood should kick in, I can see why they can feel like they left out in the cold. It's like, I'm missing a gap. But an older generation is not listening and say, hey, look, tell me what you don't see. And maybe I can help fill in the gap. I think that's probably where we're missing it. Because if we're being honest, there are probably things that our generation didn't tell us that we were missing, but we weren't smart enough to say, hey, you know what? I didn't get that part. But, I don't think we're humble enough to say, I didn't get that part. This generation is saying, hey, the leap is too great for me. I'm going to need some help. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
So
here's what it is. Here's the answer to that is this. Okay, Tommy is a little younger than I am, right?
Right.
Like me, I'm on the tail end of Generation X. I'm part of the last crop of it. Tommy's one of those older millennials, right?
Right.
So I can see both sides, right? But here's the thing: what happened with Gen X? I got the same lessons that every other Gen X got. Okay, go to school, make good grades, go to college, get a good job. You know what I'm saying? The whole nine. That's the way you do it. That's the script.
Right.
In the middle of us doing that script, right? We were following the instructions. Black college graduations and enrollment through the freaking roof, right? We're all doing good. All of a sudden, the entire way you become successful in this country switched in the blink of an eye almost. And with that, big part of that was the internet, okay? It sped everything up it made a quantum leap of everything.
But now we got AI and watch what's going to happen.
Hold on. Wait till I get to that. So what happened was the younger generation, the millennials, like Tommy, instead of them becoming our subordinates, they became our competition. We didn't get a chance to give them those lessons because we were too busy trying to figure out what the fuck just happened and how do I make it in life now that things don't work the way they do. You can't go to a business and work 20, 30 years, get your gold watch, have a retirement from the business, and collect Social Security. You can't do that anymore. Everything moves to 401k. You know what I'm saying? You can't do things. It happened right on top of our heads, right on top of us. So we had to restart all the way back over. We didn't have time to give them those lessons for the most part. So there is a lot of knowledge that is missing from that the millennials are missing. You know what I'm saying? And even though the ones of us who made it through and persevered and made it on top anyway, we're like, whew, man, that was rough. I can't believe I made it out of that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, young guys. Yeah, it's hey, young guys. You know, hey, young guys. You can do it too. How? Oh, no, man. You got to get up there and do it, man. You got to keep. You got to keep getting that wall, man, so you break it down.
What they tell you.
You got to grind out, man. That's how you do it. Tommy following our instructions, like he's like looking at how things actually work, right? Tommy's generation looking at how things work, like, no, that ain't how it works. See, over here in the internet, this is making money doing this is how I make money doing that. Tons of other different ways of making money, tons of other different ways to make it successful. The world has changed, and we're still preaching the same old message, sprinkled in a little new stuff that we had learned. And the millennials are telling us, fellas, no, that ain't it. No more. So help us figure this out. And we're like, no, man, we made it, man. This is how you do it. This is how you. No, too many of us have been stuck in our ways of preaching one way of doing things when there's thousands of them. I got 4 revenue streams on the internet, and I've automated this shit. I don't have to. I invest 4 hours a week into that.
True.
You know what I'm saying? The 4 revenue streams, 4 hours a week. So it's like, yes, things have changed. And again, like I said, we have to keep in mind that because of the internet, instead of the millennials being our subordinates, they became our competition. So we had to compete with the referee that the boomers had and older Gen X, white people. We had that shit to deal with, and the millennials coming behind us. A lot was on us, you know what I'm saying? And if you look at people like, well, y'all are in charge. No, we are not in charge. The boomers fucked us over because look at who's in charge of the nation now. The boomers. They never left. They're all in government. They all make policies. They all make decisions. The boomers are still in charge.
Man, let's get further.
You can say no if you want to.
I'm going to prove it in a minute. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm going to prove it in a minute. Go ahead.
Here's a piece of it, man.
Keep out of that trade. Before you say that, what I'm giving you is a piece. These are facts.
We understand.
You can sort.
Yes,
so what you guys have, that's why I said there's a lot of different answers to it. There's a lot of different answers because there's a lot of different problems.
We understand. Go ahead, Trey.
This is a piece. Here's the dynamic that I would never dismiss, and because this was the time when I I was just starting to venture into my manhood in my early 20s. When crack hit the scene in our communities, it obliterated the level of hierarchy in the community. A lot of it, and I hear a lot of brothers even come to these spaces talk about how they spent years and years in prison selling drugs, destroying uncles and fathers and mothers in those communities. I see a lot of people who have been hurt because of those things. Even in the day when I was a young guy, and every town's different. The mother still understood her role when it came to her 5 children with big feet, 6'4". She understood they came first. She showed up when the school said show up. She knew how dumbass kid acted at home, so when she got to school and the teacher said he was jumping on the desk, she knew because he was jumping on the tables at home, so she didn't get in them. And before busing, the teacher went to school with your grandmama and your mama. She gonna give her the whole rundown at church. So when mama got home, you wonder why she's slapping you upside the head, because she done had a whole conversation about your behavior. So they sort of focused in on the behavior. ADHD was a new thing because when I was young, we played outside. The sun was our medicine. We got that sun, we went swimming, we knocked a lot of shit out. As the dynamic changed after that, the video game kept everybody inside. Now everybody in their own little thoughts, their own little mind. Feminism took the father out of the home, crack took the mother out of the home. Once that mother was gone, a lot of these young 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds who are now 40 and 30, they've been fending for themselves ever since. I guarantee half of them can recall the behavior that they saw their mama do as a kid, and the behavior they might have saw dad. Daddy might have got hooked on drugs. Now he's just bad altogether. But the mama, she was still there regardless, trying to piece it together. So the kids saw this struggle. So when they got out, they ain't trust nobody. Mama tell them, don't trust no motherfucker out here. Ain't nobody go do you no good. So they don't even know how to build those relationships because we survived off of everybody sort of being a community and helping each other. We don't have that. Last thing, I was working in Chicago public schools. They were talking about closing 50 schools in the city. They used to have meetings. 600, 700 students in the school, six parents show up. What you think they're going to do? You think they're going to leave the school open and your own parent ain't even showing that she's invested in the community? They closed all that shit. Now kids got to cross in gang territory that they uncles and mothers and fathers and people of their family destroyed those relationships of other people in the community. So now they putting their own kid in danger. And now they putting the same mess into those kids because to me, it's an easy fix. It's an easy, as a man, you should be preparing yourself to live amongst the world. You can't be crying about what your mama did and your daddy did, and you talking about 10 years old and you 40 years old and you still wearing your pants tight. They ain't teach you how to do that shit. You ain't got a belt, you wearing M1s and big. Sometimes you just got to change in the environment as a man. And now, if you a parent, you should be doing everything opposite of what you saw. Everything. Your kids should see you smoke, drink, none of that shit. Read with them. You know what I'm saying? I trip because I work with young people, and I was going to these homes and I was seeing the devastation of the young child. And then you look over at the parents, like, what? What the fuck? I don't give a fuck. Shit, that motherfucker did this, and that's how they talking to an 8-year-old, 9-year-old. Turning the kid out, kid watching porno, and an uncle of a child that don't like the father, he gonna fuck your child up. He gonna turn your child out. He gonna dig in his booty. He gonna turn him out on weed. Next time you know the kid 16, he having all kinds of problems. So if you a man, you got a child, man, go get your child. Go get your child. Show up, man. This is our time. This is what I believe. This is the man's time. Hell with these people. We gonna take over.
All right. Trey, I agree with you, but I have a question. Do you think the laws that they put in place are now also contributing, like they play a role? Because
yeah, the laws contribute, and you know why they continue to build these laws? Because we won't even show up as a unit. We gotta show up. I don't give a damn what it is. What you showing up for, man? They said it was a meeting for us, man. I was here. What they talking about, man? I don't know, man. Somebody go fill me in. Show up. And now, with all of this new age and new technology, especially I don't know, the Generation Z's or whatever, the millennials, y'all grown up in technology. Y'all get more avenues now that they don't even want to take a part of. Start becoming fucking doctors and lawyers and all these people that get these old heads out of here. Because if you keep talking about the old head, but you ain't moving in, it's not gonna stay there until he leave us. And then you still go be complaining because you ain't did nothing in the past 20 years that lifespan to better yourself. What else can you do? The world ain't thinking about us. It's changing. It's becoming more global. So prepare yourself, young people.
Right. Like I was saying earlier, it's not really a generational thing. It's a global thing. You know what I'm saying? You're not only competing against, people in your neighborhood and your generation, you competing against other people around the world. Look at it this way. Man, we have manufacturing that loves to move away from the states overseas. We love to think that we doing something over there. We don't make a dadgum thing. We may make lawnmowers, we may make barbecue grills, but ain't nobody building no computers or stuff that requires a really high level of technical knowledge to put together. And not only that, we're not creating any businesses. You know what I'm saying? I've always said, if you don't create something from scratch, you're really not doing business. All you're doing is passing it from one person to the next. That's the thing that we have to get good at, being business owners. Because when you're a business owner, you can control whether or not you go out of business or not. You pay people paychecks. You see what I'm saying? That type of thing. And you can control your environment a little bit better if you're actually the business owner. Our problem is that we're too busy satisfied with having jobs. You see what I'm saying? Think about it. How many people do you know that actually makes clothing? The stuff that we wear every day.
Me?
How many people from scratch that lives here in the United States of America?
I source the fabric from the United States.
Where's the fabric made from?
The people who make my shit, the seamstress,
come on,
they live here in the United States.
But
it's
where
made
is it actually
in the USA.
made from scratch? The raw materials.
My underwear is made from Indonesia.
Thank you.
That's your underwear is made from there. Mine is made in USA.
You see what I'm saying? But here's
the fabric. The fabric. Here's the thing. That's why. Hold on. That's my shit. But listen, now here's the thing. Stuff I make that's made of bamboo. Yeah, that's not sourced in the United States. Bamboo don't grow here, and no one knows any bamboo farms.
But you know what does grow here?
Trader.
That we're real familiar with? Cotton.
Yeah,
cotton.
But
you know what I'm saying?
My cotton is sourced. Yeah,
Let's be real.
My cotton is sourced here.
But how many brothers you know got a cotton factory?
My nylon, my spandex.
How many brothers you know got a cotton factory? How many brothers you know got a toilet paper factory?
I don't know how many black people got that.
Use every day. How many black-owned toothpaste companies do you know? Here's the thing. If we got good at making the basic stuff that we need, we would be rich. We would be rich.
We'd be wealthy.
But the thing about it is, there's nothing sexy about toothpaste. There is nothing sexy about toilet paper.
When you see them checks go, when you see that money come in,
no. That's not. Hey, to steal a line from what Tommy said. Ain't no candy on that toilet paper. If you understand what I'm saying,
I'm just
falling for that. They ain't falling for that, man. I'm just saying.
You do have one that you know of. You can say you personally know a black man who does own a clothing company that sources and manufactures in the U.S.
Oh man,
you do know one.
Man.
But listen to what we talked about.
So when I launched my sportswear, hold on. When I launched my sportswear brand, I want to see you support it, since you want to see a black man succeed in this industry so much.
Here's the thing. I got you, but I got to get down to the size you sell. You know what I'm saying? So that means we get some other business we got to talk about. I gladly wear that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus. I got a service that can help you with that.
Yeah, no, I like the extra room. Put my honey bun in there. Listen, question. For a while, we grew up in generations that believed in that. We have a family business. We have a family farm. We have a family house. This house has been in the family for 200 years. But certain people, I won't even say generation, but certain people started letting those houses go. They didn't even know how to even keep it in, pay the taxes. They refuse to continue the family business. So I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm like, man, first of all, how do we get the current, youthful, energized folks to get out there and start building businesses and building these products? But two, we're talking about that same group of people that also didn't give a damn about continuing what their parents had. Does that make sense?
It does.
What are your thoughts on that?
Right.
So my family had to deal with this kind of thing here in Detroit, right? So my great grandfather, he had left like a lot of houses for his kids, right? And the way that they were dealing with the business of maintaining and keeping the houses up and renting them out or whatever it was that they were doing, when they were trying to do the same transfer to their children, it fumbled. And that's my generation. My generation really fumbled it. You know, we were trying to do some type of upgrade thinking instead of just doing it the way that they did it, and then took what we learned from them, and that, you know, and then we just upgraded it. What we ended up doing, my generation ended up doing, was trying to flip the houses, messed around, and they didn't keep the taxes up. And in Michigan, it was really bad because they wouldn't tell you that you owed on your taxes until it was like 10 or up. And then now you got to scrounge around and keep your house from being on auction or something like that, or going through foreclosure. What they could have did was they could actually had the family to raise the money to help to keep the houses, but by the time it got to my generation, everybody was arguing with one another, bickering with one another. You got more of this than what I got, and next thing you know, everybody pretty much lost their houses. It was a very few of them that didn't lose them, and the ones that didn't lose them like that, they ended up selling those homes. You know what I'm saying? So it ended up getting to a point where the transfer of wealth wasn't looked upon. It was just like, we got some houses. They had their grandkids living in the houses. The houses ended up being ran down. They never did take the equity out of the houses. They just didn't know how to actually do business with it. And I'm talking about a lot. This was a big Detroit thing. And it was because our ancestors came from the South. And so even when you look in the South, we probably got some land that has been pirated because nobody paying attention that, damn, we got land down in Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama. It goes to wherever it goes to, probate. I don't know what the hell it does. But and they end up losing it and not even knowing that they lost it. So, it's kind of like,
well, Jay, that goes back to what I said earlier about making sure that we handle family business. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. That's what white folks do. They hand their family business down to the next generation. They actually putting the business in their hand like a baton and say, here you go. What we do is we get money from Uncle Sam, we put it in our hand and say, here we go. It go to, crab legs at grocery store. You know what I'm saying? It goes to everyone and somebody else in the shoe shop. You see what I'm saying? We don't invest in ourselves anymore. And I think that is the problem. But my thing is to avoid having brokenness like that, we got to put the family back together. It's like a bank. You know what I'm saying? You can't put money in a bank and leave the vault open. You see what I'm saying? And that's exactly what will happen when we have broken homes. We're not teaching people how to pay taxes. We're not teaching people how to do taxes. We're not teaching people how to physically hand down the family business. We're not teaching people how to repair the home. We're not doing any of that. All we're doing is getting mad at each other, talking about how bad it is, and not actually coming up with a solution. Our greatest thing is people, we like to talk about problems, but we don't put pen to paper on solutions, and we got to get away from that. But go ahead, continue.
That's facts. But this is the thing also, and this is what I just learned. White folks haven't had families in a long damn time.
But they still got them businesses though.
No, they don't.
Oh, yes, they do.
Listen what I'm telling you.
They got them, bro.
The majority of white folks, this is what I'm hearing from white people. We don't have family wealth like we used to have it. I understand.
Listen, I worked at the bank. They do.
No, listen. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. But listen to what I'm telling you. We kind of like adopted what it is that they're doing, what was happening with them. In the 70s, it got terribly bad for a lot of them. They don't have families like we do. We had families. We was the model of it. What happened though, you got to remember, we're talking about a certain type of white folks, right? What you're talking about. I'm just talking about regular ass black folks that have.
We got certain type of black folks too.
We have way more.
We got some upper crust too now. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they just don't say nothing. They don't make podcasts, but they out there. Trust me, player. They out there.
No. Listen what I'm saying. We have regular black folks that white people can't even hold a torch to.
Right.
This is what white folks are saying. They're saying we were the model of family and sticking together. Think about it. When we were in what they call the hood, ghetto, or whatever you want to say, less affluent neighborhoods, we stuck together. Everybody had stuck together with one another, and we used our resources to get to where we were. My generation actually got to a better spot. Financially, we got to a better spot. The problem was that it was two things happening at the same time. We were moving up financially, but we were moving apart from each other when it comes down to our family. And this is what white folks are like, y'all starting to look like us now. We don't have it, and I understand what they're saying. We don't have our families like that anymore. Y'all got cousins that live around a block. Y'all got cousins that stay on the other side of the town. We don't have that anymore. This is what they're saying now to us. And what I'm saying is this. That told me all I needed to know about what family is about. It's about currency. The things, that's why when we talk, and we can talk about the house parties, rent parties. I remember rent parties. I remember even when I was a teenager, people were still having rent parties. What no white folks having rent parties? What no white folks sitting there having block parties? What no white folks selling dinners so that we can help to either bury somebody or to help them pay their rent or something like that? They didn't have it like we had it. We ended up looking and thinking that they were better than us. Their ice was colder than us. So guess what we ended up doing? Adopting a lot of the things that they ended up having to suffer. They suffer the family thing. Now look at us. We're starting to suffer the same way that they're suffering. I get the wealth that was inherited, but all of that is still getting to a point where it's not even happening for them anymore. America is America. Black, white, we all have different ways on how we deal with our family, but the way we deal with each other, we know nothing about each other. When I found that, a couple of weeks ago, I was hearing white folks saying, "No, we ain't got families like that no more." We did
ever since Colonel Sanders went down. It just changed things for us.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That chicken told it.
But speaking on the heels of what you were just saying, JT and Trey, I wasn't sure if this is where you were going. I just want to add one more element to what Lit was saying, because either systematically or whatever the reason is, part of that beat down. I think we also lost the courage and motivation.
Yes.
And the permission. That's what I took away from what you were saying, Trey. It's time. We need to be that man, be that parent, be that. But I'm hearing, give yourself permission. Get up. You have to do it. No one else is going to do it for you. So I just wanted to add to what you and Lit were saying about those items that we should be doing. Also add, give yourself permission, get some courage and motivation to make those things happen.
Can I ask you a question? And this may go back to your grandparents and things like that, older family members. Did most of your older family members own their home?
All of them.
Almost all of mine's for a while. Yeah,
So,
grandparents.
so
Some of them did. Some of them did, except for
right.
on my father's side.
So the mortgage dynamics was a lot different. You know, you had a shorter period of time, so you could pay your house off. By the time a kid understood what money was, the grandparents and family done probably already paid their house off. So everything else was just generating this false sense of generational wealth that we talk about today. Unfortunately, again, it's going to go back to that feminism and living in these public housing and all these Section 8 housing. You create no generational wealth with that. And that's where we fall apart, because even if you say your grandmama has Section 8, then she had it till she passed, and, you know, and it's just fairly new. I just know I'm going to go from the last 30, 40 years. And now there's no generational wealth. So now you 3 generations in, everybody done lived in the project. You have no collective bargaining. When you go to these public schools, they're going to tell you what they're going to teach in these schools. Because when you go to those nice neighborhoods, they dictate what goes into them schools and what's being taught. They're not doing that in the public schools because there's no collective bargaining. And we won't show up. We won't show up. The only time we're going to show up is to cuss out a teacher because she told your dumbass retarded, your little slow son with the ADHD and the PhD and the LGBT to sit down, and he lashed out and she sent him to the principal. He went on and told mama a lie. My teacher was getting on me instead of saying I was acting a dumbass fool. See, that's one of the dynamics too. It's not all, but it is. And when think about a single parent home, man, once a boy, his balls drop from his body, he becomes too much for a mother. Once his balls drop, if he's not connected to a righteous brother, somebody just gonna put him in his place and stand up over him like the Giants say, sit down, he's gonna always challenge that mother. And once he get about 15, 16, he starts smoking weed, and Lord knows, once he get him a little taste of that Kuda Kata, ain't nothing she can tell him no more. I don't give a damn if she beat him over the head with a hammer. That girlfriend say he gonna get some, he gonna stay out at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to get some. He ain't gonna do whatever he want. And that's where we are today, because now all of these women are still catering to their grown ass sons, telling me I got a baby. How old is he? He's 32. That's a grown ass man. So I don't know, man. I feel sorry for the younger folk, man. So I say go see the world right now. Buy you a little hut, a little something to put some steak in, man. So when you get 40, 45 and your hair start falling out, you start wearing glasses and shit, you got you a place to stay, man. You got you a foundation and go from there.
You know, I wanted to touch on this comment right here and to touch on what you just said. Alex PK said generational wealth is a myth. Middle class and poor people cannot have generational wealth. The ultra wealthy usually lose the wealth within 3 generations. Let me explain to you what we have to, explain to what generational wealth is. It doesn't have to be this huge number. I'll give an example. When my twin aunts went to school to go to the University of Alabama to become engineers, my grandfather had a home that he could pull the equity out of his home to send his daughters to school. As a result, those 2 are engineers and they're retired now. That's a form of generational wealth. But my thing is if you constantly live in the projects, the money that you would have been spending out on rent or whatever that may be, that money is not getting poured back into the family for later use. That is sometimes what we can refer to as generational wealth as well too. Now imagine my aunts. They're engineers. They've sent their sons off to schools. You see what I'm saying? They're boards of directors for hospitals and stuff like that. Those are the things that actually turns it over. You see what I'm saying? Those are the things that we have to look at. But the minute that you separate the family, that's when people have to use resort to other methods to make sure that they just survive. You're going from a survival method to a thriving method. And sometimes that leap requires a little help. It requires a mother and a father. And I don't care how many times we keep trying to slice this to make it fit. That is the answer. I don't know if that's what y'all want to hear today, or if that's not sitting well with you today. I'm telling you, that is what has worked. That is what is working. That's what will work. So anytime we try to reinvent the wheel and we want to make excuses for our poor decisions, well, guess what? Your decisions have consequences. And I wish you Godspeed with the way that you see the world. But my thing is this: Yes, there's multiple ways to solve problems, but the main issue is we have to put pen to paper. We have to make sure that we do the things that we have to do. Yes, relationships are harder now. That means you're going to have to put in more work. Doesn't make it any easier. Nobody's coming to save you. My thing is this: if you do the work, it'll be worth it. Sometimes we have to make sure that we keep the main thing, and make sure that we have a plan and work that plan every single day. If we don't do that, we're just going to be making poor decisions after poor decisions. And all we're going to be doing is looking to blame this generation, that generation, people overseas, the person laying next to you, the person down the road. There's no more excuses. We have all the information that we need. We have everything that we have networks. My whole thing is this: use the resources that you have. And even if you don't, learn how to open your mouth and ask for help. There's no more excuses for that. And that's my final thought on that. I'm going to leave it alone. I know where to say what I have to say.
If I can jump in next, spot on. And actually, I want to speak to that in my final thoughts. You know, if we were talking entertainment or whatever topic, I definitely see the pushback. But I want to give pushback to the pushback, or a challenge to the challenge. Level of wealth, that's determined by each person. And when we're saying that people, hell, just the fact that we had health, you know, we didn't have diabetes it wasn't running like it is now. We didn't have that. Health is wealth. And I think when we challenge things like that and say everything's a myth, give you another example when I'm talking about how generational messages helped to groom or influence another generation, and that was a myth. So at some point, I want to challenge that everything can't be a myth. And especially when people are speaking from their experiences and or about how people should grow or move forward or be better. We know not everything is accurate or 100% the way that it may come out in the reports, but it's been impactful enough that it's caused us delay. It's caused us to get caught in the fuckery game. So whatever support we can give, whatever type of uplifting we can give, unless we are 1 billion% off, I'm gonna always challenge the challenge, because we will be stuck. We'll stay stuck if everything's just that's a myth. At some point, let it be a myth. At some point, let it be a myth. We have enough people out there who are not moving forward because they're too stuck with what might be a myth. In closing, and to keep in the topic of the show, and thank you for inviting me in the space, and thank you for those on the panel and those in the chat for allowing me to share these perspectives with you. When I think about switching roles, well, again, if you go with what I call the old school method, women shouldn't be doing what men do. Like, why are you, and how does that feel when you are denied the opportunity? And then when you get caught in feeling guilty, hey, let me open the door. Oh, I'm sorry. Should I not? And then being apologetic for, sorry. Can I? And then we get to the point where we're begging just to do what was kind of natural for decades, beyond decades, beyond decades, beyond decades. All of a sudden now, men are just foolish. We don't know what we're doing. We're dumb. We're the worst people in the world just because we were trying to be nice. In fact, being nice would now be called a simp. So I think it's been so much of a twist and change, all out of not natural growth. I don't think it's been a natural, let me do this for you. When I go to the Philippines, the women are carrying the bags. So you go shopping and the women are carrying the bags. And I'm like, and my friend here married a Russian wife and she was carrying the bag. I'm like, why are you? But where they're from, that's the natural thing. But that came out of serving your husband. And now that's such a frowned upon word. We don't serve. So not only do we not serve, but now we're going to do it ourselves. Can a man approach a woman? Back in the day, that's what you did. If you didn't approach, if you want my attention, you want my number, you approach. But all that's taboo. And I think the message behind it doesn't feel as authentic as just like, I can and will do this for you too. It's, I know how to do it, move out the way. So yes, I think there's been a switch. I think there's going to be some consequences in the future, because sometimes we bite off more than we can chew. We didn't realize all what comes with the assignment. Later, we're going to find out the assignment wasn't what it cracked up to be, And please, gentlemen, how about you start doing that again? So that's my 2 cents on it. And again, I thank you for allowing me to share in this space.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ferg. Let's go.
So, this is a dynamic time. So if you just, fellas, let me talk to my 20-some-year-old brothers. I hope y'all don't want to go the next 30 years of your life living in misery and pain and crying about what somebody did or didn't do. Now is the greatest time. You have a few options. One, you can go to college like Dr. and Brother Lost in Translation, or you can do both, go to college and join the military, or you can join the military and put yourself in instantaneous learning and earning automatically. No matter what you do, just make sure you choose a MOS that will translate to the civilian world once you get out. It ain't no jobs in there being infantry, and ain't no jobs out here being artillery, but you can definitely get you some communication skills and degrees and knowledge, and understand this: the first hire is the military guy, not the guy coming out of college. That's just the way it is. We ain't got nothing to do with it. We just take advantage of the options. And if you get hurt, make sure you go to sick call, put it all in your record so you can get $3,700, 100% disability and still work your $70,000 a year job and make $40,000 free off the government. But I'll say this: if you're a young man and you're not sure, the one thing you don't want to do is have a child out of wedlock, like they're preaching out here. These women saying they want a baby. If you have a baby and you're not married, you will be broke for the next 50 years of your life, because they go come and get you wherever you work. They will find you in Saudi Arabia. They will find you in Russia to pay your child support. So don't think you can get away with it, because when you think that you're going to stop and start working and you say, I'm old enough to get this Social Security, they're going to take it out of your Social Security. They ain't going to let you get away. So the worst thing you can do is have a child, until then, work, continue to take care of yourself, find a skill set that you can obtain, learn that skill. You can do it for free at the library, on YouTube, whatever. Learn it, practice it, let it become a secondary way of life. And when you're ready, when your age of reasoning kick in, when you stop wearing your jeans down over your booty hole and your dirty drawers, and you start actually growing up and holding your shoulders tall, and you start becoming a man, you will be prepared for everything that come at you, and you will not look back and say you had such a bad life. You were put on this earth for a reason. Now go find out what it is. I appreciate y'all, man. I love when y'all have these little things as men. And we're going to continue to be men, man.
Appreciate it, Trey.
Let's give us some final thoughts of wisdom, man.
Well, this is my show, so I get the final thoughts. You go first.
Man, if you don't get your ass,
I'll go next. Hold on, I'll go next.
You
I'll
already
wrap this
win.
thing up. I ain't done yet. I ain't done yet.
Yeah, you're done.
I ain't done yet.
It's midnight.
I ain't done yet. Hey, I ain't done yet, man. This is my microphone.
I'll say people. Oh, go ahead.
No. Listen, Kevin Samuels used to have this thing where he said, we build it while you fly. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to jump out the plane, bro. And you can't wait on whether or not you got all the skills or not. You'll learn the skills along the way. Don't make you not having what you need to have, be an excuse for you not to progress. I will tell you this: living as long as I've lived, you will learn different things along the way as you progress, and those things will add up to eventually what you will be doing. So my thing is this: don't make excuses. Just get in there and just do it. Just take one step at a time. Don't look back. Make sure you get you a few friends along the way that's going in the same direction, because you can go far. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to, you can go fast by yourself, but if you want to go far, don't go alone. Take somebody with you. And that's all I got to say. Appreciate it. Man, Drell, it's on you, brother.
All right. Listen, people, it's like I said earlier, there's not just one answer to this whole thing. There are many of them. You've heard many answers tonight. You know what I'm saying? And all of these answers are valid and all of them are necessary. You can't choose one to go with. You have to do them all. What Lost in Translation said, Trey Ferg, Dr. Nakumbi, myself, JT, Tommy B, OGJ Speed, everything we said, you have to do all of that. You can't just take my way and go with it, or JT's way and go with it. You're incomplete. You have to do all of it. Is it hard? Yes. Is it too much? No. Not if you want to get the results you want. Not if you want to get on our level. We did it. That's why we know. We've been there, done it, bought the t-shirt. Wasn't fun. Not a fun ride. No. Would I do it again? Only if I had to. That's it. But I wouldn't volunteer for it. No. But am I grateful that I went through the experience? Yes. Yes. I mean, yeah. It made me the man who I am today. I'm not soft as shit like you guys are. Okay. I have very little respect, if any at all, for a whole lot of people on YouTube, especially the men. I think the vast majority of you are women with too much testosterone. Most of you are gay, but you're in the closet about it, or just don't want to admit it. You argue like women. You sound like women when you talk. This is why I don't debate any of you knuckleheads anymore, because you're not on my level. I only debate people on my level. That's it. And none of you are. You got too much work to do. And most of you are going to quit before you get even a 10th of the way there. Okay? I'm just telling you the truth because I love you. I'm lying. I don't love you. Okay? But I do care.
I love you.
I do care. Okay? And ladies, if you choose, I'll tell you what I told my sister. If y'all chose a job and money over a man these days, that's not what I want for you. It's not. But I don't blame you. Looking at what y'all got to choose from these days, I don't blame you. We need to make better men. That's my mission. That's what I'm on, making better men, because if we make better men, women will have no choice but to become better women, to qualify for the better men. They followed our lead into what they're into today. They're doing what they're doing because they followed our lead, and this is where we led them as a collective. It is our responsibility, and because we're the leaders, quote unquote, it is our fault, and we got to eat it, fellas. It is what it is. We ain't got to like it. We don't have to like it, but it is what it is. So all that to say this. Stop judging guilt. Stop Jewing how to pay your comeuppance. Okay? Let your balls hang and be a fucking man. Shout out to Dr. Kumbi. You know what I'm saying? And in case anybody missed what I'm saying, I am better than you. Not Dr. Nakumbi, the rest of the morons out there.
Fooey.
We're all the same, man. We're all the same. We're all in this together. We all bring our own little special.
Dr. Nakumbi, come on, man. You're better than most people.
No. That's just on the surface. That's just on the surface. This is in one area, one or two areas. Clinical, relationships, the work, deviance, behavior. I study human behavior. Outside of that, I couldn't even tell you how to change a oil in the car, man. I'm dumb as rock.
But you can learn. That don't mean you're dumb.
Yeah.
Nothing you can't pick up. If I could pick up on it when I was 9, dude, you got this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't as hard as you think it is.
Right. But it goes to what you were just saying. It's a community. Yeah. I have my one piece in it. You have your piece in it. If you put it all together, that's what makes it successful.
Yeah.
So I never act like I'm the one all know it all. In fact, perspective. Mm-hmm. It might be the winning perspective, or it might be, we'll do that shit another time. Cool. It's just a perspective.
Yeah. That is, like I said, everyone here was correct. Everyone here tonight was correct. Every single one of us. And that's the thing, people, that's how complex and nuanced the issue is. That's how much went into getting us into the situation that we're in, that we all complain about. And we point out different parts is wrong, and then we point out solutions to these problems. Well, if women were to do this, if men were to do that, that's true. So which one do we go with? All of it. Right. You have to do all of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, this ain't hard to pick up on, fellas. Why y'all so slow? But for the most part, people are too busy pointing fingers at one another. Like OGJ Speed said. Like I said, he was correct too. Mm-hmm. Doc, you watch these panels just like the rest of us. I mean, we see people just pointing fingers, dude. I use it now as training. I go to practice stoicism. Yeah. It takes a lot of work to be this calm and to be me at the same time. Holy shit! If only you knew what was going on up here.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm the same way. I had that was my biggest thing is to practice a little more stoicism than what I was. For one, I don't like having high blood pressure. So
Yeah.
the other thing is that was my biggest challenge is to listen, right? I'd rather listen to someone and hear them out. And if we are, banging and getting ready to and pause, but if we are basically debating one another or whatever, man, I would rather have an intelligent debate than a bicker. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
in stoicism, it takes a lot of discipline and stoicism.
And practice.
Right. I mean,
yeah.
look, Doc, and that thanks to you too, man, because I be like, I wonder if the doc really is actually like, I didn't see some people that I'm like, that shit is triggering my ass. And you just don't look like
and Doc be sitting there like this.
Right. I be like, I just be like,
I'll be
Yeah,
pulling
he's
that mental jujitsu on you.
I hear you.
Throw it out, you know?
No, and I think some people who do this will appreciate this. There's certain people who I already know what I'm getting into. I already know what to expect. So when the behaviors pop up, it actually fits right into what I thought would happen. When I used to testify in court and really give them the business, I have a singular name, my first PhD. When I say first, because that one was not worth the paper it was written on, but I knew nothing. Coming straight from one of them high schools in the hood, they don't teach you nothing about credentialing and all. I wouldn't know anything about that. I really thought I had something. Only to have the people be like, yeah. That was a humbling experience for me.
Wow.
And I said, I got all my licenses at my master's level. I didn't have to go back, but it was my ego. There's no way in the world someone's going to question my PhD again. And I'm going to go to a school. I made sure I was trying to pick to the top. I got into Southern Cal. I was like, ah! And I'm going to a different one, but it was like, I knew I could make it. And I need a lot of help. I mean, I need support beyond support. I don't like to read a lot of small letters. I start getting overwhelmed and woozy. I can't. If they don't have a picture of a coochie on it, I'm just ooh. So I take a lot. Now, all that to say this, I would go in those courtrooms with this newfound pride. And even though I'm the expert witness, I'm not the bad guy here. But here's the opposite team trying to get me and looking at the judge. I'm over here, but they're looking at the judge. So you just have a singular name, huh? We're just supposed to call you Nakumbi. And for everything, I would get them. So tell us your education. A PhD, and it's from an online. One day, one night. Saturday was not so all right. You have a PhD? And I would just, boom. And then finally someone said, let's go watch it. And if you guys remember and I'll wrap it up. Derek Chauvin, remember the Chauvin case? Did you guys, if you watch any of the Chauvin case?
Yeah.
Do you remember the young black man who did the jujitsu and all the martial arts stuff? Who kept saying, come on, man, you're a punk. If you watch his testimony, that's how I used to be. As the expert witness, I had an answer for everything. But then someone pulled me to the side and said, there's freedom of speech, but sometimes you can say too much. And you could be right and still be wrong. Sip from this glass right here. It's called a tall glass, or shut the fuck up and just pay attention, read the room, and you'll win with silence. And then I start learning to, it's not about me. I used to walk in the room in my imaginary, dude, if you win 1 point during the volley exchange, you lose. If you win 1 point during this volley exchange, you lose. So I took pride in that. That might be the right answer. That might, okay. So that's how I had to learn it, because if not, I was triggering because I wanted to feel heard. I wanted to be right. And I'm trying to give you information. I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
So they're rejecting me.
I'm a PhD.
So I just had to learn my spot. So anyway, that's how I do it. And I know there's a reason behind every behavior. Yeah.
But way
to go, Doc.
You got me to a point where I do the same thing now, that I listen to people, and especially in the realm of where I help people, and I help a lot of people that are frustrated. So one of the things that I've learned that it makes everybody's job easier when someone comes to me frustrated, and I just listen to them, and then I have a solution for them instead of always having just an answer for them, right? So that was one of the things I do. I let them get it off. They probably be cussing me out along with everybody else.
Whoa.
I can't stand this in y'all at this place, and I'm gonna get my lawyer on y'all and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, what I used to do was have an answer for everything. And I'm like, that's not working, because now it get to a point where I end up making it about me. And I'm like, this ain't even about me. And then when I started to practice that, man, and I practiced the stoicism, man, it's like, they give me the utmost respect, and at the end of it, they thank me, because I'm like, okay, this is what it is. So, just listening to them, man, and I learned a lot from all you guys, man. I'll tell you the truth. This whole thing with conversation is just this is an art, man, and I appreciate you guys for coming support me, supporting Black Men Unfiltered. Supporting big head ass Mandrell and my lovely sister Shoo Shoo. And I did see her, and she said that they had cut her lines on she was
They did. She said she was out there 4 days shooting scene after scene after scene after scene.
Yeah.
And they, and for that episode, she had speaking lines too, right? She was there all day. She was, going up, take one, take two, you know what I mean? And then it was one of those things where she's described before, where you might be out there a week shooting 2 scenes, and they might cut every part of you out.
Yeah.
But they cut her speaking lines out. It's like, and what was the point? You know what I'm saying? Like they edited, when they ended the editing process, all of her speaking lines for that episode they cut out. It's like,
well, they may use it for a flashback, man. You never know.
They
don't
may,
never throw nothing away. They might put it some in the behind the scenes. You never know, man. They're gonna use it.
I'm glad she out there doing her. I'm glad she out there getting her grind on. It's not an easy thing to be in the acting field. I respect everyone that comes up there, man, and to doing what they have a passion for. And I know, because Shushu is funny as hell. She's very, very talented. So when you talk to her, man, just tell her I'm always gonna be praying for my sister to go as far as she can, and whatever what she's doing, man. So yeah.
Yeah, but she's done a lot of work for like those networks, like HBO and Showtime. She's been in a lot of those shows that we all watch. This thing is, y'all didn't know her at the time, so you didn't notice her when she's sitting there talking. And she was in a movie called with Oscar Isaac. I think it's called Show Me a Hero. Where they kept her lines in that time. You know what I'm saying?
I saw her as a detective. I don't know what the hell I saw her on, but she was a detective on somebody's show. I think it was on not a sitcom, but a series.
Yeah, it was that series. She was also in. She played FBI agent. She played a lot of stuff, like that show that had J-Lo and Ray Liotta in it.
Yeah,
she was in that one. She's one of the FBI agents in that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she's done. Yeah, like I said, she's just a person who just pops up kind of an extra. No, she actually gets actual roles in these TV shows and some of these movies. Like I said, thing is, y'all just didn't notice it because at the time y'all had no clue who that person was.
Right.
Right. But I guarantee you've seen movies and TV shows with her in them. You've seen it before,
Right.
But yeah, if you guys didn't see it, I don't know if you guys even follow the Power series. She's in Raising Kanan, the 3rd episode, and she was the young lady. She was in the line with old girl jukeboxing her father when he was going for auditions and stuff like that. So it was just cool to even see my girl up in there. I didn't care if she didn't talk or nothing. They was just like, they gonna shoot shit right there.
Exactly.
What you should have seen is her part in what you call that, Law and Order.
Yeah.
Where she had to cry. I said, see?
I
knew it. What? What are you talking about? When we were growing up, all them times just crying them crocodile tears. in front of mom and daddy, and I took their ass whoopings. You were faking the whole time. You hear what I said? Right. You're faking the whole time. Yeah, I called her and messed with her about it. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. I got credit where credit is due. She's talented. Like anyone who can cry on command like that, like real tears. She can put herself in that moment and in that character's shoes and feel what the character is supposed to feel at that moment. She has real talent, like at a high level. And there are tons of people out there who are really, really talented like that who don't really get shine because of one reason or another. You know what I mean? It's just it's an unfortunate thing, but she is one of those people who is just scary talent. It's Law and Order season 21, episode 6.
Okay,
man. Can you imagine dating her? She bust out one of them acts on you and just.
I'm right, Dr. Nicole. Right.
What?
It was all your fault.
Right. Right. Because Doc, honestly, like I know she's my sister and everything. I'm not saying it just because she's my sibling, but she honestly does have a scary amount of talent.
Right.
Yeah.
Artistic talent. She's got it, dude.
When she did Security Boss, it was scary. Security Boss had to be funny. Security Boss was laughing when she did the one part in the man. I'm telling you,
I just went back and watched that the other day. I watched that episode.
She had security. Dog, she had Security Boss's cadence, her speech pattern.
Yeah,
she had like down to the cadence of her voice, the little mannerisms she makes with her hands.
Yeah,
all the facial expressions. And then she did Kendra G, same thing.
Oh man,
you're like, oh my! You're like, you see the watch. You're like, oh my god!
It was scary. It was scary.
If you weren't looking at her, you swear she was either Security Boss or Kendra G. If you weren't looking at the screen, you swear that's who that was.
That was funny. I was doing Brother Clarence, and I couldn't stay because she was so doggone good. I couldn't stay in character. I had to keep laughing because the only thing I did was do the Brother Clarence laugh. If y'all ain't never heard Brother Clarence's laugh, that laugh is so funny. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's basically what I was doing, you know, but I couldn't stay in character because she did Security Boss too damn good, man. That's my shouts out to her.
Scary amount of talent. Like I said, when I saw the Law and Order, incidentally, she had her birthday on the set on one of the days she was shooting there. And Anthony Anderson and the guy who was in that show Burn Notice. I don't know his name, but Anthony Anderson, the black guy, they actually threw her a surprise birthday party there.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man.
I can see she got a lot of people that's really it's really that really know. She got her name is blowing up over that way, man. It really so I'm glad she's doing her thing. No doubt about it, bro.
And on that note, we're gonna leave out on Shoo Shoo. Y'all have a good evening. Peace.
Y'all later.